There we go. Hello, hello, hello. Hello. And welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for fantasy Premier League content. We are back. We are back. And look what we have here. Look. Is it you guys suggested a couple of weeks ago, Dan, you need to get a deadline countdown. We need to get a deadline countdown in the streams, and now we made one. I figured it out. I figured out how to make one, and now we have a countdown to deadline, which that seems a little long. I think it's 10 minutes off. So I mean, I almost got it right. Can I fix that quickly now? Let's just remind myself how I did it. We'll call that oh yeah, I am 10 minutes off. Okay, we'll call that teething problems, but still. That's not too bad. Let's reset the timer. We're almost there. Yes, because it's about 2 hours and 25 minutes until the deadline. But I'm waiting for it to hit 3:35 my time for it to be ready. So I'll keep clicking reset until it gets it right. I wish I could just set an end time on this timer, but you know, it's new stuff. But how is everyone doing? Are we all good today? It feels like it's not been that long since the last deadline. The last deadline was only on Friday, so it's only been a couple of days really for everything to sink in. So a lot of the decisions being made this week happened to be made pretty quickly. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to. There we go. Update. Perfect. That's about perfect timed. Yeah. I haven't even been able to really make videos this week, so massive apologies for that, guys. I put out the buy sell keep avoid video on Sunday, and then on Monday I had to do the podcast, so it was like I had to do all the graphics of the podcast and get that all sorted, which does take some time, and then go in and record it, which is takes a few hours. So it's been a poor showing from me for content, and I can only apologise for that. But hopefully we can kind of do my team selection, I suppose, today in a way, because we're going to be selecting our team live on deadline. And no 100 experts. There just was never going to. I don't think there was ever realistically going to be time to do an 100 experts video this week, but it is what it is. We'll be back with 100 experts next week. I've had some big green arrows in the 100 experts as well, so. Yeah, hopefully those experts have been really helping you guys out in previous game weeks. I don't think, to be fair, I don't think there's too many transfers going on this week. I think the main expert transfer this week is to bring in Cunha. So make of that what you will, I suppose. But let's show you where I am with my team. We'll do the live team selection, I guess. Right, here we go. So ladies and gentlemen, this is my team. It is. Oh, by the way, I got a green arrow. Yeah, yay! I'm up to it's like 200k now. Yeah, a green arrow last week, which is nice. Not quite where I want to be, but this is how I'm lining up. Pickford in goal against Brentford. Not planning on making any transfers there, so Pickford will be my goalkeeper up until I wildcard, which will be in game week 30, 31, maybe even 32, somewhere in that area. In defence, we've got Gabriel against Forest. We're going to play Kirkes against Brighton and Trent at home against Newcastle. Going into the midfield, Mo Salah against Newcastle, Palmer against Southampton. Those are the big dogs. And Burmo against Everton, and then we've got the duo, the Bournemouth duo of Kleiber and Dango to complete the midfield. Up front, Isak and Wissa against Liverpool and Everton, respectively. And on the bench, Fabianski and Dye, who is still undead. Castagna and Lewis Hall, who, Hall, despite his heroics last game week, isn't going to go near my starting 11 this week. Castagna also going to be on the bench to try and hedge against all of these new Cunha owners, of which I'm sure there will be a lot of. I am going to throw in a poll in the chat. How much in the bank? A lot. Let's just double check. It's like 3.4. So I do have the money to pretty much go and die to any forward in the game, other than, I think I can't quite afford Watkins because he's 8.9. I can't afford Haaland, but I can get anyone else in the game. So very much options open for an Ndai replacement if I was to get an Ndai replacement, which I'm still not 100% sure if I will. Because if Ndai is available for Game Week 29, then I might even move Wissa out. Even if, Ndai could be available for Game Week 28. Because I think Bournemouth away for Wissa or West Ham at home for Ndai. Obviously, Ndai being a penalty taker as well, we imagine. I think that could be really, really interesting if that's something that's a possibility for us. So, yeah, I mean, I'm on the fence. I think certainly one of Wissa and Ndai will be removed within the next couple of game weeks, be that in game week 27, 28, or 29. But honestly, guys, I look through my team, and even if I was to make an Ndai transfer this week, it's like, who would I bench? It would have to be one of Dango or Cliver, wouldn't it? It would have to be one. James Holland, member for 19 months. Thank you for your continued support, James. I very much appreciate that, my friend. So, yeah, this is where I'm at right now. I think some people would perhaps say, yeah, just go for it, make a transfer. But I think information is key. And I'm still not sure exactly what direction I want to take with my forwards. I think I'm down to 3 options. And that is Cunha, Marmoush, or Haaland. Maybe throw Wood in there, but I'm less keen on Wood right now in terms of trying to get that perfect dream forward for game week 29 and indeed 30, because I'll be looking for someone for 30 as well. If we have a look at the fixture tick up, assuming I make the transfer next game week or possibly the week after, we'll have to wait and see. And looking through who has the best fixtures here, we can see that Wolves are up here. Actually, let's go for projected goals. This is possibly a little more useful. So we can take off 31. So it's really 28, 29, 30 I'd be looking for. Maybe just 29, 30. So Arsenal are top of the fixture ticker, but, for expected goals for. But I'm not really sure there's any forwards that we can go for from Arsenal right now. I don't think they've got any forwards available right now in the game of FPL anyway. Then we've got Man City who are in second here. Forest away, Brighton at home, Leicester at home, which is pretty nice. 5.4 projected goals in that 3-game week period. Bournemouth are there, already doubled up on the attack. Chelsea here as well, largely because of that Leicester fixture. And Liverpool still super high despite the blank in game week 29. So Wolves are pretty high here as well. They have Everton, Southampton, West Ham in 28, 29, 30, which is very nice indeed. But I think the other team is Forest, who play Ipswich in 29. I think I would quite like to get Marmoush, and I think that's the big thing I'm holding out for. I want to go a bit different. I think Cunha is probably the safe and sensible pick. However, it's I think it might be time for me to start playing a little differential, trying to go something a little bit different. So I do like Cunha. I like him a lot, and certainly I think he's the safe pick, but Marmoush is very exciting to me. And I would even think about captaining him in game week 29 as well, which is a nice option to have. Really nice option to have. Accepts in the chat says, when's the expert video coming? I'm afraid, mate, there's like 2 hours until deadline. I just haven't had time this week, unfortunately, but it'll be back next week. Don't worry. Let's do a poll. I wanted to do a poll. Who is your game week 27 captain? And I think we can keep this pretty simple. Salah, Palmer, or other, because I really can't see anyone captaining anyone other than Salah and Palmer, but maybe there's a few odd ones there. Let me know in the chat if I'm wrong. Is there actually any other kind of players for Game Week 27 that you guys are genuinely thinking about captaining this week? Let me see. Scared says Bowen. Captain, big balls. Who does Bowen play against this week? It's Leicester at home. Oh, it's nice, isn't it? Mbermo maybe. Yeah, a few people saying Bowen. I don't know if they're going to be popular enough. In fact, if we start this poll, I bet even, you guys are talking about Bowen and Mbermo, other is going to be like 5%, right? Or maybe less. It's going to be all about Salah and Palmer. So I've put the poll in the chat, guys. Get your votes in right now, and let's see what you guys have got for me. Let's see where we are at in your heads. And yeah, then I'll let you know where I'm at in my head. So far, very close on the poll. As you guys are getting your votes in, Salah and Palmer keep switching places after every vote, seemingly. Crazy, crazy stuff. But yeah, I wanted to start this poll before I spoke about captaincy myself, because I don't want to influence the poll results, although I'm sure that may happen indeed. We'll have to wait and see, won't we? Bench list is going to be important today. I will start the bench list a little bit earlier today. We'll do the bench list about 45 minutes. So still plenty of time before the deadline. And then we'll go back and forth on that. But I think there's, because we haven't managed to do too many videos today, then today, this week, yeah, there's still a few bits and bobs to cover. So there we have it. Kabalash says, Dan, do 2 different polls before and after. Yeah, see what the difference is. See what the difference is. Okay, right, so where do we start? Where do we even start today? Because there is a lot to cover. Forwards is definitely something to cover today in greater detail. I think we'll have a look at the fixtures. We'll have a look at the underlying data. I want to look at defenses as well. Maybe some chat about midfielders. Although, to be honest, guys, if I'm buying a midfielder this game week, let's go on the Opta stats. If I'm buying a midfielder this game week, it's probably going to be Palmer. Bowen. Get him confused with my English left-footed wingers or attackers, I suppose. But yeah, I think I'd go Bowen this week, because Bowen's genuinely got a really nice run of fixtures here. So Leicester at home this week, Newcastle at home next week, Everton away, then Wolves away. That's a decent run. Leicester at home is a phenomenal fixture, and each of the others, you know, they're somewhere in the middle. They're somewhere in the middle. But I think they're good enough for a player like Bowen. Paqueta is, of course, injured, so we're going to have Bowen on penalties, which is, you know, additional ways of getting points. He has been playing a striker, but he's just as good on the wing or a striker, to be honest. So that's going to be super interesting to see how he does. 3% on the other captain vote, by the way, guys. Crazy. But really nice split here between Salah and Palmer. I think the overall player base will be far keener on Salah than Palmer. And I think the fact that so many people are voting for Palmer or actually considering Palmer a little more closely is probably a sign that you guys are looking at stats and data and really analysing things rather than just picking the player who scores the most points, which is Salah. But he's been pretty consistent in that regard. Kasim says, hi Dan, I know Chelsea have been horrible lately, but surely someone like Pedro Neto, I presume you mean, could be a differential. Let us know your thoughts, please. Yeah, for sure. So I don't know if any of you guys caught the Stick to FPL podcast that was uploaded yesterday evening. I always recommend you guys go check that out if you haven't done already, particularly if you like something a little bit more longer form. It's really good for if you're, you know, whether you're at work or commuting, or you just want some noise in the background where you're playing some video games or something like that. Really think the Stick to FPL podcast is a really nice, kind of fun, light-hearted, but also jam-packed, full of information kind of podcast. And in that podcast, me and my co-host Sim, we have a competition each week called Differential of the Week, where we pick a slightly different player owned by 5% or less managers, and kind of ask who do we think is going to do well in each particular game week. And for game week 27, my differential of the week was Pedro Neto. So certainly he is a player I would very much be considering if I was looking for a new midfielder, because the next 2 game weeks, Southampton at home, Leicester at home, it literally doesn't get better than that. There is no better pair of fixtures that a team can possibly dream of. And if I'm not mistaken, no other team will have or has had both of these teams back to back at home in consecutive game weeks before. So this is the, you know, the top. If you're a fixture, if you love your fixtures, you love targeting fixtures, this is your bread and butter. It really is very, very nice. So for sure, Pedro Neto playing out of position last game week as well against Aston Villa in the centre, really as a striker really in that game. So was getting those opportunities. And also, it's not just that. I thought Chelsea played quite well. in that game, better than they have done recently. And I know that, you know, if you've just looked at the results, if you didn't watch the game, you might be thinking, yeah, another Chelsea loss, no surprise. But actually, the loss really was down to some individual mistakes. Jorgensen made a big goalkeeping error, should have saved the ball, should have been an easy save, but spilled it into his own net. And then the other goal was, I would probably say, Gusto mistake in the defence. So individual errors leading to goals in that game from Chelsea, but generally speaking, they played quite well and had plenty of opportunities. Neto and Palmer, probably the stars in that team for the players who looked most likely to get a return in that game. Obviously, Neto did get his assist. It wasn't an assist, wasn't it? Yeah. He got an assist in that game. And yeah, I thought both Neto and Palmer looked like, if you're scouting in that game for Chelsea players to target, it would be Neto and Palmer for me from that game. Don't think I'd be looking really too closely at their defence, but I think Gusto in attack provided a lot of good width there for Chelsea. I know people will be looking at Reece James, but with this being a midweek fixture, only a few days after the last fixture, I don't think I would be looking to go for someone like Reece James there, or indeed any of the defenders, because I still think there are a lot of fragilities in that Chelsea defence right now. So that's, yeah, there you go. That's my answer on Pedro Neto and I guess a few things Chelsea there and what I've kind of seen there. But anyway, we do have a super chat here from... I don't even know how to say this. There's a lot of letters and numbers in here. Yameh Azmd 97. I don't know. I don't know how we're saying that. But anyway, Yameh says, my rank is 9k. To be honest, any captain other than Palmer, you playing the game wrong. Fact, even if Salah overscored him. Yeah, I mean, I think to state it as fact is probably a little disingenuous. But for sure... Salah is obvious because, I mean, he scores goals and gets assists every week, and there doesn't really seem to be any change from week to week on that one. Salah just doesn't blank. Salah has blanked 4 times all season. Palmer has blanked 4 times in the last 5 game weeks. So if you look at it that way, you're just looking at your points. We know sometimes don't overcomplicate things. The amount of times I overcomplicate things in my own team, try and be smart, and it ends up backfiring because I'm focusing too much on, the data and the projections and things like that. And you miss opportunities and you make mistakes that because you've been ignoring the obvious. And that is that Salah, no matter what happens, will score from 0.2 XG. His teammates, who definitely should be shooting, will square the ball to him for a tap in. It will get a big deflection goal. He will create, and his teammates will finish low XG chances from his assist, which is crazy, by the way. He's got like 16 assists from 6 expected assists this season. That's not even included any penalty assists because he doesn't, he takes the penalty, so he can't even get penalty assists. So he's just overperforming like crazy, but he is just having the season of his life. His teammates trust him. He is trying to break records. He is playing selfishly. He is, he's doing all of the things that you want in an FPL asset, and he's having a phenomenal season and is probably, right now, the best player in world football. So even against Newcastle, which is a tougher fixture than Southampton is for Palmer, you still have to consider Salah as a serious consideration every week. I mean, we were happy to captain Salah against Man City last game week. Why not captain at home this time as well against Newcastle, who have actually started to drop out a little bit defensively? We see Newcastle without Joelinton, real miss. There was no Tonali last week. Botman has been unavailable in the last few weeks as well. He did come back briefly. So there have been some missing players, and it has caused Newcastle to drop quite significantly. I think Tonali will be back this game week, but there's not going to be any Joelinton, who is very important to Newcastle, his work rate for them defensively, which is crazy to say because, 5 years ago, Joelinton was a striker. And now he's so important to Newcastle defensively. We have got Nick Pope back as well. He's got a game under his belt. So maybe that does improve Newcastle defensively a little bit. But yeah, I would not say Newcastle are, particularly a better defence than Man City at this present moment. So yeah, look, I agree. Palmer is a fantastic opportunity to go against the crowd for a captaincy this week. All of the bookies are backing Palmer. All of the analytics guys and the analytics models are all backing Palmer. Like, I'll show you the hub predicted points, for example, and it has Palmer out on top by a little margin as well, I think. Let's see. Toolbox. By the way, guys, of course, if you do want to check out Fantasy Football Hub and all of their tools, there is a link in the description. So let's go to Gameweek 27. Okay, so it's not like crazy, but Palmer, it has higher predicted points than Salah this week, according to the Hub model. And I've looked at a few other predictive models, and they all seem to have Palmer ahead of Salah this week. So, yeah, there you go. Salah is, you know, the obvious pick in many ways because he just doesn't stop scoring and assisting. But Cole Palmer, despite the fact that, by the way, guys, he's one of the most sold players this week. Let's have a look. Like, this is the craziest thing. 150,000 people have sold Cole Palmer this week. 150,000 people have sold him, and yet a lot of us are sitting here considering captaining him. These are the people, you know, who are selling Palmer. These are the people who probably don't consume FPL content. They don't look at the data. They probably don't watch too many games. And they're selling Palmer. Can we get one over on these guys? These people are trying to take advantage of the fact that we're more engaged managers. We're FPL nerds. Can the FPL nerds take advantage of the Palmer sellers by captaining Palmer? But to be fair, just keeping Palmer is going to be somewhat of an advantage, I think. Depends on depends on who you're playing up against, who's in your mini leagues, guys. But anyway, let's continue on through the super chats. Dig Vijay says, "Hi Dan, love the shirt." Oh, yeah, we got a. I don't. Have we worn this shirt on a stream before? So, some of you guys might remember my crab shirt, my lucky crab shirt. Where is that? It's got to be over here somewhere. Here it is. It's over here. So this is like the OG lucky crab shirt, which is a bit of a channel meme at this point. Because, you know, why on earth is there so many little crabs on this football shirt? It's absolutely crazy. Is someone phoning me? Okay, well, I can't answer that right now, unfortunately. I'm busy at work. I'm working. So, yeah. This is the OG crab shirt, which I wore for my streams. Worn for streams many, many times. And this is like the lucky crab shirt. You know things are going to go good if I'm wearing the lucky crab shirt. However, at Christmas, my brother actually got me a new football shirt. He didn't have a clue. He didn't know about the lucky crab shirt at all. And yet somehow he's managed to get me the other kit. So it's the same team. I think it's from the same season as well. And this is the other lucky crab shirt. I think it's a Ghanaian team, if I remember correctly. Cape Coast Ebusua Dwarfs. Let's just verify that, guys. Cape Coast Ebusua Dwarfs. Yes, Ghanaian team who play in the Ghanaian Premier League. There we go. Bit of know-how for you. But anyway, there's a quick spiel on the football shirt today. So it's a more colourful crab shirt, but there's no mini crabs on this one. Just the main, just the big boy, just a big crab. But anyway, that's the that's the shirt today. Anyway, Dig VJ says Rodgers and Watkins for a hit for Cunha and Bowen, or Rodgers and Welbeck for a hit for Bowen and Beto. Are these worth a hit, really? I mean, I know people are pretty hot on Crystal Palace right now, but Aston Villa aren't suddenly a bad team. I think selling Watkins seems a little bit luxury, but I guess you're trying to fund some kind of upgrade for Rodgers. So unless you can find a cheap Rodgers replacement, which maybe is difficult. I mean, you know, like a player like Semenyo, I think would still be good to go for as a Rodgers replacement. But if you've got your Bournemouth players, you don't want any more. I kind of acknowledge that it is a little bit more difficult to find someone cheap than maybe it was a couple of weeks ago. And Bowen is the target, right? So I guess, yeah, probably the other issue is benching. Like, can you just bench Rodgers anyway? If you could just bench Rodgers, then I don't think I would make any transfers there. Bench Rodgers, play Watkins, and then just play the rest of you guys. Although it does seem like you have Welbeck as well. Could you just sell one? Do you need to downgrade Welbeck in order to upgrade Beto? Upgrade Rodgers to Bowen. Let's see. Is there? I can't remember what Welbeck's price is. I thought it would have dropped. So Welbeck is 5.5. Beto is 5. So yeah, I'm guessing you're trying to free up a bit of budget there. I mean, I don't mind Beto as a pick. I still think he's got a good run of 3 fixtures left. Really, you'd have to bench him in game week 30. Watkins, you are going to have to sell anyway if you plan to play through game week 29. So if you are taking a hit, is it worth just getting the forward that you really want, which seems to be Cunha? Yeah, now I've fully analysed this one, maybe I would take that hit. Yeah, Rodgers and Watkins to Cunha and Bowen for a hit. It helps out game week 29. I think if you know you're going to have to take a hit for game week 29 regardless because you have too many blanking players in game week 29, which thankfully I don't, but I appreciate a lot of people do have a lot of players who blank in 29 and they don't want to play their free hit then. If you know you're going to have to take a hit, then I'd feel happier doing it now if it really served a transfer move that I really like the look of. Particularly if you're dealing now with a problem you know you're going to have later and improving your team right now. Let's say yes. I'm going to say yes because Rodgers and Watkins are going to have to go, aren't they? They're going to have to go. And we have got a couple of other super chats here. I'm just going to go through them. Yumes says, I know my point is you have to take the risk. Oh, yeah, about the Salah versus Palmer. You don't have to take the risk if you don't want to. You don't have to take the risk at all. But, you may feel that you want to take the risk. I also feel that I would like to take the risk as well. But, there's a lot of people who would prefer not to take the risk and want to play things a bit safer. And I have no problem with that either. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Salah is a bad captain because I like the look of Palmer, because it's just not true. Salah is still, no matter how good any player is in the Premier League, you're not just. I kind of mentioned this on the podcast as well, so apologies for repeating myself if you did watch the pod, but we're not just betting for a good captain anymore. We're betting against Salah at the same time. So it's all well and good finding a great captain for the game week. But you're not just depending on your captain doing well, you're also counting on Salah failing. And that is so much more difficult to really count on. We can say Palmer is an amazing captain for this week. He is. He really is. But Salah isn't suddenly worse because Palmer's good. Salah's great every game week, no matter who else you're picking. So I think there's always going to be an option there. That said, I'm on Palmer. So look, I agree that you have. I think depending on your situation, maybe you should be open to taking a risk. And I am open to taking a risk because I'm not really happy with where my rank is at the moment. I want to try and push that on a little bit. So I'm gonna take a risk. But a lot of people will be sitting top of their mini leagues, maybe coasting by 20, 30 points at the top of their tables. They don't have to take any kind of risks. They can just chill and play as they play. And, Salah can be the captain and then force the people below that, if you're at the top, you're forcing the people below you to take those risks. So there we go. Right, a few more super chats here. Freddie says, do you like any United midfielders? Not really. I mean, maybe Bruno, but just Man United as a team at the moment are just not. They're just not clicking at the moment. So, it's difficult. So I guess the answer is no, other than maybe Bruno. But how do you even get to Bruno right now? You're not going to sell Palmer. You're not going to sell Salah. You're not going to sell Mbermo. If you're looking for a new midfielder, you're probably just going to go for Bowen this week rather than a Bruno. But I'd be open to Bruno Fernandes, but no one else. Nikyle says, hi Dan, 93 points in Game Week 26, up to 300k and 50 points clear in my mini league. For Game Week 27, I was thinking Rodgers to Bowen, but I'm free hitting in blank Game Week 29. Yeah, I probably wouldn't bother with that then, no. Doing João Pedro to Mateta, good luck. Yeah, João Pedro to Mateta looks good. I think if you're free hitting in Game Week 29, there's no real reason to move on players like Rodgers. Just leave them on your bench, I think. That's probably what I would say there. I think we're all caught up with super chats there. Let's see if there's any chats from members. Craig says, hey Dan, any recommendations for a Hall or Trent replacement for Game Week 29? Salah and Isak on the bench that week. I would rather sell Trent than Hall, because I think Hall is someone you're definitely going to want to have after Game Week 29, particularly for double game weeks. And Trent, you might have him, but you might not. And you probably have less value tied up in Trent compared to Hall as well. So it makes more, and you can free up more money by selling Trent. So it makes more sense to sell Trent, I think, rather than Hall, if you're holding on to one or the other in Game Week 29. In terms of those defensive replacements, we can have a look at the fixtures, and it depends what you're really after. Let's go fixture analyzer. So you're looking Game Week 29 to 30 most likely. It's really short term kind of defender. So at that time, you may be looking at, Kirkes if you haven't got him. I think I'll probably end up with Gvardio in my team. That is one idea. So I'll have 4 transfers between now and 29. I'll probably do something like Gvardio in here. We'll have, let's go for Marmoush for the time being. And would that give me a full 11? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Crazy, I can do it in 2 transfers. Yeah. Yeah, I can get to 11 men in 2 transfers. But obviously I want to keep my mind open to other kind of options. So something like that, as Gvardio and Marmouche, I think look good for me. So I think that's my plan, to go for Gvardio, because I think I quite like to get in early on Gvardio as well, because I think his price is going to go up as people start to bring him in from Game Week 29 onwards, because it's not a bad run. Brighton at home, Leicester at home, Man United, Crystal Palace, Everton, which by the way could be a double game week here in 33, which would likely be against Everton and Aston Villa. And then blank in 34, that'll be the free hit. And then to finish off the season, Wolves, Southampton, Bournemouth, Fulham. Gvardio is good for the rest of the season. If you're free hitting in Game Week 34, he's good for the rest of the season, which is going to be really nice. So I think that's what I'm thinking. And he'll be like my expensive defender alongside maybe Gabriel, maybe not, we'll see. And I don't know if there'll be room for Trent. So I think, if you're looking for a new defender, not necessarily for right now, but for Game Week 29 onwards, I think Gvardio is probably your guy. Let's see some other members' chats. Josh says, who do you expect to be on your bench for the blank game week? Salah, Isak, and Lewis Hall. For me, I think that will be my bench. Mihail says, hi Dan, Kirkes, Robinson, Van Dijk, Timber, bench 2 and start 2. Who are you picking and why? I would start Kirkes and maybe Robinson, And I think that comes down to attacking threat, because let's have a look through clean sheet odds. So we'll go to Rob T. We'll have to have a look at the clean sheet odds for this week. And I imagine, it only came out 5 minutes ago, so we've got some really nice up-to-date stuff here, guys. So this is the market odds as of 5 minutes ago. So very, very nice. So if we look through the clean sheet odds, I think Fulham should be reasonably high. Okay, 27% for Fulham. Who else you got there? You got Arsenal, so 36%. You're always going to get something good for Arsenal, no matter what the fixture is. But with that being an away fixture, with Arsenal looking not so great, I think I would maybe, I don't know, move away from the odds a little bit for Arsenal at the moment. I say that as an Arsenal fan. And then you say you have Kirkes, 17%, was lower than I expected. I just don't see Brighton as a super great attack. So does that mean you should bench Kirkes? And then who's the final player? Van Dijk, 32%. So I think he'd play Van Dijk for the home fixture. Maybe. And then maybe Robinson. Is that the answer? Because Robinson, you have a decent attacking threat from him. So you have a combination there of a good, strong home team with a good defence, generally. And, yeah, and I guess a decent-ish clean sheet odds with some attacking threat in Robinson. Nice balance, maybe. There you go. But yeah, anyway, just looking through some of these defensive odds a little bit more. It seems like Chelsea have the best chance of a clean sheet this week, followed by Manchester United, which is crazy to say. And then after that, we have West Ham and Arsenal in joint third. And then Liverpool in fifth with 32% chance. And then Brentford 29%. I think it's going to be a tricky one for clean sheets this week. I'm not sure exactly where they're going to be coming from, to be totally honest with you. There's a few things in here I don't actually agree with. Like Brighton versus Bournemouth, I think will actually be a fairly open game. So I'm surprised to see Brighton with 25% clean sheet odds there. Then we have Arsenal away against Forest in some pretty... The thing is, though, even if Arsenal are in bad form, they'll just dig in deep and just defend. They'll just defend. But yeah, if it's Gabriel, you play him. But someone like Timber, who, you know, it could even be Ben White getting some game time this week. It's a little riskier with a Timber compared to someone like Gabriel. So, yeah, there's your clean sheet odds. If we look at the goal scoring odds, it's actually Chelsea way out on top here. 3.2 projected goals. And with it against Southampton, I totally understand that. Benas in the chat says, do you think Nkunku would be a good punt for 2 game weeks? I think I prefer Neto, personally. A few people asking about the 100 experts video. Yeah, sorry guys, just wasn't time to make that video this week, unfortunately. It'll be back next game week. So apologies for that. But yeah, Cunha seems to be the expert hype pick. Nikhil says Lewis Skelly is suspended, I think. He is indeed, but it'll be Calafiori playing at left back, so arguably improves Arsenal defensively. So yeah, if you're looking for goals, it looks like Chelsea could be the team. Then Liverpool in second with 2.3 projected goals, which is actually pretty similar to the likes of Man City, 2.2, Man United, 2.1. Even West Ham has got 2 projected goals. So Bowen looks genuinely really nice for this game week. Really nice. Man United, though, again, another team that I just see that Man United-Ipswich game. I don't think it's cut and dry. It looks like Man United are going to get an obvious win here, but yeah, Ipswich could do quite well. I'm going to, whilst I'm here, do my sleeper predictions. Before I forget. So guys, make sure if you are in my predictor league. If you haven't joined the Predicted League, there is a link at the top of the description. We are giving away prizes each month, football shirts, games consoles, etc., Amazon vouchers for people who do well in the Predictor League. But basically, each game week, we predict who's going to win, lose, and draw. So link in the description if you want to get involved. I'm going to go through my predictions now. So I'm gonna back Bournemouth this week because I have Bournemouth players in my FPL team. Although I actually think this game could be kind of close. Wolves versus Fulham. I might call... I'm going to call that a Fulham win. I still think Cunha could score in that game, but I think Fulham will win. After that, we have Crystal Palace versus Aston Villa. That's a really tough one. I'm going to say Aston Villa. You know, Asensio and Rashford doing so well. I think we're going to say Aston Villa on that one. And then Chelsea versus Southampton. Easy one for Chelsea, you would think. Then on to the rest of the week's games, I guess. Brentford to beat Everton. Brentford picking up some results recently, but Everton have looked good as well. I think we'll back the home team, Brentford, in that one. Forest versus Arsenal. I've got to back Arsenal. Spurs versus City. I think City will win, even though Spurs are their bogey team. I'm going to say Man United, Ipswich. I'm going to back Man United in that game. We'll back Newcastle against Liverpool. And then my final selection for my predictions this week will be West Ham to beat Leicester. There you go. That's all of my predictions in. Now, can I win my own prizes? That's the next question. Would that be fair? Who knows? Who knows? Right, we've got another super chat here from Mark Kagan, who says, Rodgers to Semenyo, already have Dango, no free hit 29. Yes, I've got no problem with that. I've got no problem with that. If you're looking for a cheap guy and you're happy to double up on Bournemouth, then yeah. I would willingly go for Semenyo, but only if you're comfortable with the Bournemouth midfield double up. Only if you're comfortable with that, which some people won't be. I'm fine with that. I've got it in my team. I've actually got a Bournemouth triple up, which is maybe a little too far with Kirkes in my defence, but yeah, looks good to me. Looks good to me. Bench one would Enzo Cliver. Can't bench Wood, really, can you? I guess you bench Enzo. Rodrigo says 8.5 in the bank. Whoa. Cunha and Isak, who's the third forward? Your third forward, if it's up to me, the third forward is Marmoush. I'd go straight for Marmoush. That would be probably my ideal front three. At the moment, it would be Cunha, Isak and Marmoush. That would be my dream going into the next period of games. For sure. So there you go. Pretty straightforward question. We like those. We like those. Will Areola start? I think so. Worth a try, isn't it? AJ says, should I replace Wissa with a Cunha, for example? I mean, I have Wissa in my team. I've not really got any intention of selling him quite yet. Everton and Villa are two nice home fixtures. We know Brentford do like a home fixture, and Wissa's numbers are really, really good. So I think that will continue. You know, he got a goal last game week. He got an assist, which wasn't given. He got 2 disallowed goals the week before. He's actually in some pretty good form right now, and you know, I think this could be another one of his little hot streaks. So although ideally, looking slightly longer term, I would prefer the likes of Cunha and Marmoush. Really, there's nothing wrong with Wissa. Certainly not worth making a transfer on that one. And remember, Wissa has a fixture in Game Week 29. So if you're struggling for Game Week 29 players, Wissa is very much your friend. Very much your friend when you're going to have some enemies elsewhere, I think. Including the likes of, you know, Rodgers, for example. Jasada says about selling Gakpo. No, certainly not for -4 either. Yeah, Gakpo is another player I'd be willing to keep. I think Gakpo has a good chance of playing against Newcastle tomorrow. And then after that, you've got Southampton. No FA Cup for Liverpool as well, so a nice week's rest. Well, week and a half rest for Gakpo between the two games as well. So, yeah, I think Gakpo has a good chance of playing against Newcastle, which he could be pretty decent for. And then after that, Southampton, man. Southampton at home for Liverpool. Incredible. So I'd be quite jealous of a lot of people who still have Gakpo in Game Week 28. So I'd keep him. I'd keep him. Cunha or Wissa? To buy, Cunha. Cunha would be the guy I'd buy. Yash with a super chat says, Rodgerson and Dye to remove. 2 free transfers, 1.5 in the bank. Suggestions. Ooh. Okay, let's think about this then for a second. So, really, you want to try and get and die to Cunha or Marmouche. Is that affordable? It is. Marmouche might be slightly out of your price range, but you could go to Cunha and then make a sideways move on Rodgers. Or, you could also just keep Rodgers and reassess next week. If you can bench Rodgers this week, I think you're fine. So I would be looking to bench Rodgers this week. And if that's possible, go again next week. And, maybe you can make another double transfer, which might free up a little bit more budget in order to upgrade to Rodgers to someone you really, really like. But I think Dango is still on the menu. Semenyo. I mean, let's have a look at other cheap midfielders. We'll take our price down to, let's go 5.5 or less. So we're going super cheap here. There is Minter. I've been putting up some really nice underlying numbers recently. Alanga, who plays Ipswich in Gameweek 29. But again, you probably don't want to do that now against Arsenal. Sharda, if you think he'll keep playing, but may not in the more tricky fixtures for Brentford. Damsgaard, potentially. A lot of creativity there for him. There's not too much else out there. Could go for Nwaneri. If we go per start, we might see a Nwaneri a little higher here. XGI. And let's go hide low minutes players. Actually, does Nwaneri count as a low minutes player? How high is he even on this list? There he is. So 0.4 XGI per start. So there's a couple of cheap options right there if you're desperate to go for someone right now. But there is for me, no need to rush that one if you can just bench. If you can just bench Rodgers. That's probably what I would suggest. Are you not considering Ndai to Cunha? Oh, for sure, yeah. Yeah, so I've been considering it all week. But, who do I bench? I'd have to bench one of Cliver and Dango, and I don't feel super comfortable doing that. And even though I think Cunha is a really nice move, I'm also open to Marmouche. And I think Marmouche is the player I would really like to get. And I can't have both. Well, I maybe could have both by Game Week 29, but right now I can't have both. So I'm kind of trying to maybe getting one more game week's worth of information before committing. And, there's nothing wrong with Cliver and Dango. A lot of people have, players like Rodgers in midfield and an Ndai or something like that. In which case, it's maybe a little bit more difficult. You need to find that replacement this week. Or you might have another forward or midfielder that you just can't see yourself playing this week. Whether they're injured or they have a poor fixture. Maybe you have a Murphy. Maybe you have an Alanga. Maybe you have, I don't know who else. Who else has a bad fixture this week or you just wouldn't want to play? I don't know. Maybe a Fulham midfielder or something like that. Possibly. Or, you've just got a super cheap 7th attacker. 8th attacker? 8th attacker. You've got a super cheap 8th attacker, and you just need to have a player for your starting 11. In those instances, yeah, you've got to make the move, I think. But for me, I don't think I have to do it if I don't want to, and I think I can be patient on this one. The other consideration, and I know this counted for absolutely nothing last game week, but if we look at the top defences in the Premier League, let's go expected. Let's actually go to defensive numbers and non-penalty XGA. Let's just tighten it up to last 10 game weeks. We see that Fulham are right up here. Really, really high. 8.4 non-penalty expected goals against in 10 games. That's really good. Tighten it up a bit more. Last 6 game weeks. Again, really high. 4.4 non-penalty expected goals against in 6 games. Those are very impressive defensive numbers. Very impressive defensive numbers. Particularly, even if you look at the fixtures, they played Forest in that run. They played Newcastle in this run. You probably wouldn't count Palace, Man United, Leicester, or Fulham as necessarily great teams in that run, but certainly Forest and Newcastle are tough games, and you know, wins in each of those. They do seem to concede goals, but they don't concede a lot of chances, and you can kind of see through this whole thing here. 1.29 expected goals conceded against Palace, 0.42 against Forest. That was super unlucky. Newcastle just 0.75 against Man United, just 0.25. So they've been really kind of unfortunate in the ways they have been conceding goals recently. So for as good as Cunha is, and I really do think he has got a very good chance of scoring against Fulham, I don't think it's like a dead cert. I don't think, you know, this is going to be a battering. I don't think we can consider Fulham to be like a terrible defence or anything like that, because the numbers suggest something very, very different. And it's actually unusual to see Fulham underperforming on defensive numbers. Usually with Leno, they actually overperform on their defensive numbers, so it's quite unusual to see them conceding goals in this kind of situation. So I don't know how sustainable that is. I think longer term we might see a regression to mean, and Fulham to start keeping a few more clean sheets. I think that could even happen now. And you know what? If so many people weren't buying Cunha this week, I think people would be saying, yeah, Fulham defence looks good this week. But no one dares to say Fulham's defence looks good this week because, you know, you're going up against Cunha, who you may have bought yourself. You may be considering buying. You may be fearful of other people around you picking up Cunha for their fantasy teams. And you don't want to bet against that by playing your Fulham defenders. But on paper, Fulham, a team that, by the way, is typically stronger away from home, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, we'll verify that. Let's go full season home versus away. Actually, I'm on the wrong page here. So we go full season, home only, non-penalty expected goals against. Home only, Fulham are down here. There's different amounts of games. Let's go per appearance. We'll just go XGC, flat XGC. So fourth at home. So 1.05, and away 1.17. Actually, that's basically no difference. But actually, in the table, they are higher. So they're on average, they're a better team away from home than the average team, I guess. But actually, it's pretty similar, the numbers. The raw numbers are similar, but in terms of the table, Fulham are one of the stronger defences away from home. So I don't think, you know, it being an away fixture really counts for too much there. So yeah, Fulham a good defence. I still think, you know, Robinson and Castagna are very playable assets. Oh, Pot Noodles is back. I need a team selection, Dan. Well, unfortunately, I didn't have time for a team selection video this week. Sorry about that. Right, okay. Let's check out a few more questions, and then we will I think go for the bench list. I think it's about time. I think it's high time we went for a bench list. So Tyler says, Aina, Gabriel, Reinhardt, Nori, Trent, and Robinson. Start which three? So you don't start Aina. I think that's probably reasonably obvious. Do you bench out Nori? How much do we trust the Wolves' defence? They have been improving defensively. I mean, let's just verify that. But I believe they have been improving defensively over recent game weeks. On the wrong page again. Let's go home and away. Let's go last 6 game weeks. Yeah, so they're up to mid-table. Go 10 game week data. Yeah, mid-table. That's kind of since the new manager Pereira came in. So they're no longer like a bottom tier defence. But that's not to say they're a brilliant defence. The thing is, I still don't think Fulham are that great in attack. They don't really have any player there in that team where like strikes the fear in terms of those attackers. It's probably why their goals are so spread out between all of their guys. So, okay. I think you start Gabriel. I think you probably start Trent for the attacking potential. And then I think between Ryan Aït-Nouri and Robinson, I think I prefer Robinson. Because Aït-Nouri actually hasn't been super attacking. He's kind of really gone within himself a lot over the last couple of months. He's not been the same attacking player we saw at the beginning of the season at all. He really hasn't. So I think I'd go Gabriel, Trent, Robinson for this game week, Tyler. And I think we'll go through a few more of those players on the bench list now. So let's get her going. Let's just clear last week's bench list first of all, guys, and then we can start repopulating it, to repopulate the world. Okay, here we go. The bench list is on screen. And for those of you guys who are new to the streams, first of all, welcome. Hope you're enjoying them. But second of all, this is the bench list, and the bench list is a beautiful list. This list is not about transfers. It's not about who's the best player. It's not about who you should sell or buy or anything like that. Nothing to do with that. It is purely a reference for who you should bench and who you should start within the players that you already have. It's nothing to do with buying new players in or anything like that. It's just about the players you already have. And if there's names on this list that you don't already have, you ignore them. Because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking through this list. And you guys always have so many bench-related questions. Should I, for example, someone might say in the chat, who should I bench? I have Rodgers and Enzo. Which one should I play? Which one should I bench? So I put I have both of your players on the list. And because Enzo is higher up than Rodgers, then that means I would probably recommend that you play Enzo over Rodgers, because Enzo is higher on the list than Rodgers. Then we have, people will ask, okay, if a player is super low on the list, does that mean they're a bad pick? So, for example, I might put, I might put Robinson here, for example. But I might put above Robinson, I might put Isak here. I might put Dango here. I might put Cliver here. For example, I might put Chris Wood somewhere here as well. I don't know, let's put Chris Wood here. And it looks like Robinson is super low on this bench list. But that doesn't mean that Robinson is a bad pick. It just means that if you have Robinson and all of these guys, and you have the choice of playing either Robinson or one of these guys, then I would prefer to play one of these guys. And it's usually the defenders who will naturally sit lower down on this list. But that doesn't mean they're bad picks or anything like that. It just means that I would prefer to play an attacker over them, which is usually the case. So just wanted to clarify that. We haven't done a full breakdown on how the bench list works in a little while. And I know we do have some new viewers. So that is how the bench list works. If you are, of course, an experienced bench list consumer, welcome back. Let's get some suggestions for players you'd like to see on this here list. And I'm seeing, and by the way, guys, we're not gonna have everyone on this list. If you've got a super differential player, I'm probably not gonna put them on the list because there is a limited space. But in terms of those popular picks, I think we can populate this here bench list. So let's get her going with the popular picks. We'll see what you guys are saying in the chat, who you would like to talk about. So Castagna, I don't know if Rodgers is even going to play. It might be time for him to have a rest. So I'm going to put Castagna here, for example. Kirkes, I'm going to put ahead of Castagna, but behind Robinson. Players like Lewis Hall, I would just not want to play at all this week, so he'll go at the bottom. Munoz, I think given the form, I think he goes top of the defenders we've spoken about so far. Got a super chat here from Scott, says, hi Dan, Isak, Wissa, Wood, who to Cunha? None of them. I would not be moving any of those players to Cunha. Malenko, don't get FOMO, man. Don't get FOMO. You've got a strong attack there. Those are 3 strong attackers. No need for FOMO. We can talk about Cunha a little bit later. You don't need him. Milenkovic, Munoz, Trent, Gabriel, and a 4 million. Who to Nori or Robinson? Thank you, mate, and hope you're well, Scott. I'm very well, thank you very much, Scott. Thank you for asking. I don't even know if I'd bother making a transfer there either. I know, Scott, I don't think you need to make a transfer, mate. Play Trent, Gabriel, and Munoz. Bench Milenkovic and your 4 million guy. Your 3 forwards are fine as well. No transfers needed. No transfers needed. So that should be you covered. That's your 3 defenders covered. You've got Munoz, Trent, Gabriel. You've got your 3 forwards covered. As long as you have 4 playable midfielders, you don't need to make a transfer this week. I think good opportunity to roll. And to be fair, it'll be a good opportunity to roll the transfer for a lot of people, I think, this week. And I think it's a huge transfer week, really. Which is another reason why I don't feel so bad about skipping the 100 experts this week. And indeed my team selection, because I don't think I'm making a transfer. Right, Aina. Going to put him below Rodgers. Nottingham Forest defensive numbers dropped off a cliff. I don't fancy Aina this week. Cody Gakpo. That's an interesting one. I guess like here. It's a small risk maybe, but I still think I would take it. Wissa. I have no feeling to bench Wissa, I don't think. I think Wissa goes up here. I'll put Aina / Milenk. I'll just put Milenk there. You guys know who that is. I know there is a slight difference, but let's be honest. Neither of them are particularly attacking players. When you actually watch the football games, at least. They'll have the occasional opportunities, but I think they can be paired up for this game week. Just to save a little bit of space here. What else have we got here? Mbermo. We really thinking about benching Mbermo? I don't think Mbermo makes it on the bench list this week. I don't think it's even a consideration. Very few people will be thinking about benching Mbermo. I mean, how good's your team if you're thinking about benching Mbermo? Benching Gakpo feels risky, but okay. I would say that benching Gakpo is the least risky thing to do because we don't know about minutes for Gakpo. Like, best case scenario, you're going to get, what, 70 minutes from him? Will that be enough? Maybe. The worst case scenario is he doesn't start, and I think that's very possible as well. I do think Gakpo will start, though, generally. Right, who else have we got here? Cole Palmer is not going on the bench list. I mean, he's literally my captain, for God's sake. Joao Pedro seems to be popular. And by the way, guys, whoever got Joao Pedro points last week, you absolute lucky devils. You've clutched it up, and I'm very, very jealous. Was not expecting him to start, but we got a surprise Welbeck injury, didn't we? Right, Joao Pedro against Bournemouth. It's not an amazing fixture, really. I don't really think I'd be looking to play Joao Pedro this week. Who would go there for me? Who else is popular here? Mikalenko. I think he's going to go reasonably low for me again. Let's put him in here. So below a lot of the other defenders. Prefer him to like a Forest or Newcastle defender. Here for FPL says bench list is telling me to bench Wood. Scary. Oh, really? Oh, man. You must have a really strong team then. But I think I would be looking to bench Wood over Clivert and Dango if that's the question. For this game week anyway. But that is scary. Big Blue Sea says, this is my channel now. You've got so much more personality and energy. Oh, okay. You're actually you're slagging off other content creators. I probably shouldn't read that one out. But Big Blue Sea, I appreciate you joining me on the channel. It's very much appreciated. I'm glad to be your FPL channel now. But we will leave the slander to other people. But to be fair, I don't even know. I don't really watch a lot of other content creators these days, so I don't know what their content really looks like. I just do me. Kabalash says, yeah, Dan responded to you benching Gakpo compared to my players, Dango, Clover, Isaac, and Wissa. All of them are above him, so I have to bench Gakpo. Yeah, I think that's totally fine, Kabalash, and that's totally fine. Definitely fine. Right, who are we missing here? We can throw... Oliver wants a couple of goalkeepers in here. That's no problem at all. So Pickford versus Flecken for this week. And it literally... yeah, I guess it literally is Pickford versus Flecken, or Flecken versus Pickford, I should say. I guess Pickford you trust more than Flecken, right? Is there any other goalkeepers we can throw in here? I still think I play Raya above them all. I think I maybe play Allison above them as well. Not sure what other goalkeepers are really worth throwing on here. Areola, good fixture for Areola, isn't it? Let's throw him in here below the big boys, the premiums. Verbruggen. I'm gonna put Verbruggen at the bottom here. Actually, I just think that'll be an open game. Sells can go below. Yeah, that makes sense. Any more goalkeepers before we go back to some of the outfield players? We'll have a look. People want Semenyo on here as well. Semenyo will go below Clivert for me for now. I think actually though, in future game weeks, as we see more Bournemouth players return to fitness, I think we're going to see Semenyo go up and up and up and actually overtake the likes of Clivert and Dango, because Semenyo is the most nailed on for these guys. He's the best for minutes. So as soon as minutes start to become more contentious, Semenyo should benefit from that one. But right now, whilst Evan Nilsson's still not trained, still not ready, anywhere near ready to start, or at least, you know, he's going to, at least this game week, I think Semenyo does drop down below Dango and Clivert, but not for long. Not for long. Trillock says, how do you rate Rodgers to Bowen? I like it. I like it. We want Trent on this list. I guess we can throw in Trent. I mean, everyone has him, right? Let's go. You know what, actually? I've just had an idea. So, we probably think... We will come back to the bench list in 1 second. We probably think that Areola will start ahead of Fabianski, right? But is it worth just doing this? Just in case? Probably is, isn't it? If you have Fabianski, you may as well start him. Could get lucky. The Fabianski randomly starts. Doesn't hurt to do it, does it? Yeah, alright, screw it, let's do that. Doesn't hurt anyone. Now the problem is if you know, if we get like Areola starts and then gets injured in the 89th minute and Fabianski comes on for a 1-pointer, that's the only risk there, really. But that's probably the play. What the let's remind myself of the clean sheet odds. I think it's West Ham were high, 36%, Everton 18%. Yeah, that's a big difference. Big difference. There you go. Probably worthwhile me doing that then. But please do not confuse that for me saying that I think Fabianski will start, because I really do not think Fabianski will start. Super chat from Khalifa says, Nkunku, Neto, Bruno to wildcard 30. If money is not an issue, then I would go for Bruno. But I also prefer Neto to Nkunku. So there you go. Storm says, your bench list answered my questions. Thanks. Storm, this is what the bench list is here for, guys. This is why the bench list is a mainstay of the FPL Mate streams. It's a genuinely a really useful tool. Really, really useful tool. What about Kepa? I'm also going to throw Fabianski here. No, he doesn't quite fit in. Let's call him Fabian. Big Fabian. Right, Kepa, I would probably put... you know what? I'm going to throw... Am I going to throw Flecker and above Pickford? I guess I am. But Kepa, I'm going to put, I guess, below all of them. I think, like I say, I think there'll be goals in the game. We'll back like that. I think so. This says, why do you say it like a gangster? The bench list, yo. I can't recall saying the bench list, yo, but the bench list, yo, is what it's all about. Right, what else? What about Gabriel? You play Gabriel. I said I was going to put Trent in as well. Yeah, you play Trent and Gabriel above all. Let's just put Alexander A to avoid confusion. Nicholas says, I'm going to captain Cunha for this game week. Your thoughts? I really wouldn't do that personally. I think you have, you know, you have a really nice opportunity this week to go for one of Salah or Palmer and hedge against the other players who go for the other guy. You've got two amazing opportunities for captaincy. So I don't really see a reason to go elsewhere out of those two this week. It's not the week for it, I don't think. Plus, like, yeah, Cunha's been getting like 1 goal per game, but you know, Palmer and Salah, these are guys capable of getting multiple attacking returns in a game. Multiple, crazy. Which Cunha doesn't typically do. And if he does do it, it's going to be against one of the easier oppositions, of which Fulham are not. Fulham are not a walkover team at all. So yeah, that's my thoughts on captaining Cunha. I would definitely not be doing it. I think people have definitely got Cunha fever. There's definitely, he is like the hype guy of the last probably week. Not even just this game week. Tail end of running up to deadline for 26 as well. Cunha's the hype guy right now, but let's not go too far with it, I guess. Scott says, hi again, Dan. Have Semenyo, Dango, Wood. Pick 2. Hub has me benching Semenyo. Does Arsenal give pens? Glad you're well. Thank you, Scott. I would... You know, if you have both Semenyo and Dango, or, you know, have 2 out of 3 of the Bournemouth midfielders, then you could hedge and put Wood in ahead of one of them, because there's certainly, and I would play Dango ahead of Semenyo, certainly, given the choice between the two. So Wood is close to the Bournemouth midfielders anyway, so if you wanted to kind of split up your chances a little bit, you could go for Wood. But I did see someone ask in the chat earlier, you know, why would you bench Wood when Arsenal were so bad? Arsenal haven't got any worse defensively. In fact, the worse they get in attack, the better they get in defence. So, yes, Arsenal in general have been very uninspiring, but that's not really anything new. They've been uninspiring for a lot of this season, but one thing they have been consistently is strong defensively, and that's how they've managed to... I mean, remember, guys, they're still second in the table. You know, they're still very, very high in the table, and they've done that through being an incredibly stubborn defence. And that has not changed for 1 minute. So even though you might be thinking, Arsenal, they've been playing bad recently, maybe we can target them a little bit with our players. I don't think you target them with your attackers. I think you got a better chance of a clean sheet against Arsenal than perhaps before. Like for your defenders against Arsenal, but for your attackers, you're still gonna... How many XG are Arsenal going to concede? 1? 0.8 to... Probably 0.8 to 1.2 XG in that game. In any game, really. It's not quite enough. Not quite enough for me. Is it crazy to captain Dango? Yes. Yes, it is. If I'm totally honest with you, yes, it is. Right, who else needs to go on this bench list? Emaz says, will Rodgers play? He's having a late assessment, so I'm not exactly sure. I don't think it's looking particularly positive. I would be looking to bench this Rodgers this week if possible, or find a replacement. I'm not putting Burmo on the bench list. There is no way you should be benching him. I don't even know why you would consider it. Like, actually, yeah, to be fair, like, you know, maybe I'm missing something. For those who are thinking about benching and Burmo, could you tell me why? Because I'd be interested to know. Is he really that bad compared to whoever else you've got? Surely not. Soboslai's not going on the bench list. Too differential, unfortunately. But for the record, I would put him reasonably low here. He would probably go below Enzo, below João Pedro, maybe. Somewhere around there. Dina, not going to put him on the bench list. Bench him, though. Yeah, Aston Villa defenders are just not the ones at all. Probably want to look at selling them, ideally. You're going to start Wooden, bench and Burmo? Don't. I mean, you can if you want to, but there's no way I would do that personally. Nwaneri, yeah, people have bought Nwaneri, haven't they? And I think, in fairness, Nwaneri wouldn't go super high here. I'd rather play Enzo. I'd rather play João Pedro. I'd perhaps even rather back an Arsenal defender above Nwaneri, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to put Nwaneri here. I think that's fair. I mean, he's a 4.5 million midfielder. You have to manage your expectations. The idea is you probably bench him a lot of the game weeks. Does Cunha need to go on the bench list, really? He's like the most hype guy. We've gone from talking about captaining Cunha to talking about benching Cunha. Life comes at you fast. I think people are, again, confusing the bench list for a transfer tier list, though, aren't they? Because does Cunha really need to go on here? You're playing Cunha. Pretty much above anyone on this list. Cunha would go to the top of this list, and Burma would go to the top of this list. I think anyone who would go above Isak, I mean, Isak for me is an obvious play. So anyone above him, I don't think really belongs on the bench list. Shani Russell says, hello, mate. Firstly, tell these freeloaders to exercise their thumbs and drop a like. Yes. Right, you hear that, freeloaders? You come here, you get your content for free, and you don't even drop a like. That could be your payment today, right? That's the entry fee for today's stream. It's 1 like. Once you've paid up, in you come, mate. No payment, no service. You'll be waiting there by the door, so get your likes in. Anyway, quick question: start Nwaneri or Wood? That is answered on the bench list now. Now that Nwaneri's gone in there, we've got Wood ahead of Nwaneri. Offer Spill says buy Neto or Nkunku. I prefer Neto personally, so that's where I would go. BP says, hi mate, first live show after sub. Thank you so much, and welcome to your first live show. Hopefully you are enjoying it. Bench Decore or Nwaneri? I would bench Decore before Nwaneri. Nicola says, I've changed my mind about captaincy. Honestly, mate, like, if you really, really want to go for Cunha, like, you've got to do you. You've got to play your game, man. But there is no way I would do it personally. No way. But look, that's just me. I don't know everything. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. So don't, just what I'm saying is, if this all goes terribly wrong, please don't blame me. Please don't blame me. I just can't see myself ever doing that this week. Ever. Right. Where are we? Is there any other players that are desperately missing right now? I don't think Mateta is going to be one of those players. I think Mateta is a clear play. Beto could come in. Nicola, yes, mate. Make sure you tune into the next live stream, and we'll do a recap of how it went. How did Cunha do compared to Salah and Palmer? But anyway, Beto can certainly go in here. I think, given his form at the moment, And the fixture, you know, for an attacker, it's not too bad. I think you probably go... Do you go above... You go above Nwaneri. We go above Joao Pedro. Do we go above Enzo? That's, I think, tight. I'm going to drop him below Enzo. Because I think there is a chance that Enzo plays in a fairly attacking role in this game. And if that is the case, then that's going to be quite beneficial for Enzo. Although I know not that many people have Enzo these days anyway. But if you do still have Enzo for whatever reason, he could, you know, he could be worth playing this week depending on what other options you have in your team. Hopefully. James says, Dan, what percentage of experts captain Salah? I don't know, man. I think from what I've seen... In fact, let me have a... Why don't I just throw something in? Like, let's just go in the Discord server. So I actually... the experts we use... I made a Discord server for all the experts to use. And there was a poll that went in, actually, for Gameweek 27 captain. And it looks like it's just Salah and Palmer. And the experts, according to the poll that one of our experts put in the private chat, 67% Palmer, 33% Salah. So experts seem to be backing Palmer for the Gameweek 27 captain. I'm getting a lot of phone calls. This phone call is from Leeds. Who's this random number calling me from Leeds? What's going on? So there you go. Yeah, according to the experts Discord server, 67% on Palmer, 33% on Salah. So experts are backing Palmer. We'll see how that plays out. We will see, indeed. Right, okay. Can we add Bowen to the bench list? I don't think so. Bowen is a clear play. If you've just bought Bowen, you play him without a shadow of a doubt. So he doesn't need to go in. Julian Timber is fair because I have had a lot of Timber questions today. So, like I say, I would drop him below Gabriel, probably below Trent, maybe below Munoz and Robinson, but I'd maybe sneak him ahead of Kirkes. So something like that for Timber for me. Howson is... I'm not going to throw in Howson, but just throw him next to Kirkes. Oh, can we fit his name in here? There we go. We've thrown him next to Kirkes. And Burmo's not going on there. You play him without... Why do people keep asking about Burmo? Do we really have to put him on? He's top of this list, man. You don't bench Burmo. You don't... No way, man. No way. Neto would go pretty high as well. If you've literally... You guys are talking about... You guys... Are you sure you understand the bench list? I just want to verify. Are you sure you understand the bench list? Because presumably any Neto owner has only just bought Neto. So you want to buy Neto and then bench him immediately? Why did you buy him then? Or do you just want to see your player on the bench list? Honestly, guys, I would say that if you don't see your player on the bench list, it's usually a good thing. Because it means you shouldn't even consider benching them. Which I think is good. I'm still seeing a few questions in the chat. Kind of asking bench-related questions. And a lot of those players are already on the bench list. So do make sure you are checking on screen, guys, to see if your players are on there. Reese says... Tom Heston for the bench list. Who on earth is that? Is this some kind of trick? Or is this one of your friends? Well, you know what? I don't know what position you play, Tom Heston. Put whoever Tom Heston is on top of the goalkeepers. Lewis Robinson says, I'm stuck between Beto and Dango. Thoughts? Are we talking for benching versus starting? Because if we're talking about for a bench, I think I would play Dango ahead of Beto. I'd be pretty comfortable with that as well. Sutton Explorer says, you might have to create a graphic for the must-play players. Yeah, but it's just more screen space, isn't it? It's more screen space. I'm already limited. Wonder if we can tidy this up for next season or something like that. But it looks cool as it is. Like, this is a cool graphic. We could remove the bit where it says the rules, but then the rules, like the explainer of how the bench list works. We could remove that and replace it with a must play, or move the goalkeepers down and then put a must play at the top or something like that. However, if without the explainer on screen at all times, people joining in chat late are not going to have a good time with it. They're not going to have a good time with it. It's just going to get confusing. We've got to keep the content accessible as first priority, because everyone is welcome. How is Mitoma not here? Well, I'm your master. Why do you feel that Mitoma should be here? Why should he be on this list? Are you thinking about benching him? Because if you're not thinking about benching him, then he shouldn't be here. There you go. In fact, can we do like some kind of underline on this one? Or can we make it the underline doesn't really work. That green is a little bit audacious. Maybe something like that. Good work. David with the super chat says, play Gakpo or transfer Rodgers to Bowen and bench Gakpo. I would be tempted to. I would be low-key tempted to do Rodgers to Bowen, to be honest. If you can do that for free in one transfer move, I would seriously consider that. 1 hour to deadline, by the way, guys. We have passed the 1 hour to go mark according to my brand new countdown clock. It sounds like a simple thing that I should have had ages ago, but it took me a while to work out how to do that. Could have probably just asked someone, but I like to do things myself. But the countdown is under an hour to go, according to the brand new clock. The brand new beautiful clock. There we go. Kavalash says, Dan, I have an idea. Top right, where it says goalkeeper split in half. Yeah, but what? Okay. Yeah, we could just make like goalkeepers and like must plays like smaller lists. All right. Well, I'm not going to do it now. I'll have a play. I will have a play at some point. We'll have a play and a think of how we're going to do things. Nicholas says, what would you do if you're top 80k like me, Salah or Palmer? I'd feel less pressured to do Palmer, but I think I still probably would. But I am me, and I'm going for Palmer, so it's... So that's what I would do. I would still do the same thing that I would do, most likely. I think I'd try and push a little further. But you don't have to. It depends what you value. Is it like a top overall rank? Are you trying to win a mini-league? And Salah is the safe play. But I really like Palmer this week for a captain. Nice clock, Dan. Thank you, Tommy. I'm glad my clock is appreciated. It is always good to see the appreciation of any new additions to the streams. We do try, and it took me a little while to figure that out today. Eze on the bench list. I don't know if we're going to put Eze on. I think he's still a little too differential, but I would probably put Eze maybe pretty high. Maybe somewhere around the Bournemouth mids. Right. Let's throw Mittelmart in, because I think it sounds like a lot of people are actually genuinely thinking about benching him. I would throw him down by Joao Pedro, I guess. I guess I have to. He's been in better form than Joao Pedro, though, so I'm going to put him here. Would I play Beto ahead of him? Yeah, I think I would. I think penalty factor. Oh my word, people really want Bowen and Cunha on here. Why would I put... Okay. Okay, right. Let me turn this around. Those of you asking about Bowen and Cunha in the chat, I can see people are typing Bowen and Cunha. Are you guys seriously considering benching Bowen or Cunha? Is there a universe in which you guys bench Bowen or Cunha? If the answer is no, then they shouldn't be on the bench list. But if the answer is yes, and you are genuinely thinking about benching Cunha and Bowen, then maybe I'm just an idiot, and maybe I've missed the memo. But seriously, guys, no, we just want to see who you prefer. But that defeats the entire purpose of the bench list. This bench list isn't about who I prefer. This bench list is about benching players. It doesn't matter who I prefer. If you're gonna play Bowen and Cunha, if you have Bowen and Cunha and you're gonna play both of them anyway, who cares? Because you're gonna get points from both of them. You preferring one or the other doesn't get you more points or less points. I guess we see this. We see this every week when we're making the bench list. People just want to see their players on the bench list. They don't care about the fact it's about benching. They just care about, do you like my player? Dan, do you like my player? Not, would you bench my player? Do you like my player? So maybe the bench list isn't fit for purpose. People just want to see if I like players or not, generally, rather than on the bench. I want my players to be above. You want to see your players at the top of the bench list. Yeah. Again, I think that's just a case of maybe the bench list isn't doing what you want it to do. This isn't a tier list. This was never meant to be a tier list of best and worst players. Never meant to be that. Because things change week on week for that. This is about specifically for this game week. Who would I play? Who would I bench? To answer the most popular questions. I have other videos. We have the buy, sell, keep, and void video. That's the tier list. We make tier list videos, actual tier list videos sometimes. That's just not what this is. So, I don't know. I guess we just throw everyone in. I think maybe we need a must play section, right? That way we can preserve the value of the bench list and also satisfy people who just want, I guess, what is it, like validation on your picks? So we have like the bench list and the validation zone. Okay. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Maybe I'll do it for next game week. We've got a bit of time. For next week, we'll have the bench list and we'll have the validation zone where you guys who just want your validation can go in and, I guess jerk yourself off because you picked a player who should definitely be starting. You go, my player's good. If that's what you need, I got you, baby. I got you. Forget who to bench, who to start. You just want to see your players. Oh, yeah. My players are awesome. I love my players. Yes. Validation. Anyway. Back on target. Okay, Dan has gone insane. Yeah, it does drive me insane because, like, the bench list is a staple of the channel, and you know, this was genuinely one of my most brilliant ideas for the channel. So much so that I think Let's Talk FPL has now got his own bench list now, or something like. Someone's told me that he's now doing a bench list. This is like fantastic content, and people are trying to sully it by putting like Salah on the bench list. Maybe the ego boost list. Yeah, that's what we need. We need a separate ego boost list, separate from the bench list. But you know what? We're limited on screen space. So if I start adding like Salah, I prefer Salah to Mbermo. Yeah, no shit. I don't swear often on this channel. I do swear a lot in real life. But yeah, like, obviously Salah is going to be above Mbermo, but people still want that validation for some reason. So maybe that's something to consider, because at the end of the day, it's, you know, we've got to make content that you guys love at the end of the day. And that's always the goal. Right, Albi Agent says, who to sell? Dina for Robinson, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, anyone else? I mean, the hype guys this week, I mean, I've not properly looked at defenders to buy this week, but it seems like the hype guys are Ait Nouri and Dorgu at Man United, which isn't massively inspiring, is it? So I don't know. Is it really worth making a defender transfer in that case? Unless you really are desperate, I think I would, you know, even with a player like Dina, like, I think it's worth keeping. Main Man Dan says, every stream has a 5 to 10 minute period where Dan loses marbles and Loki, I'm all for it. This is the content I subscribe for. Yeah, I definitely have a breakdown at least once per stream. And it's usually because I get sick of, like, just saying the same thing over and over again, and it drives me insane. But it's like, it's no one's fault watching, because people join the stream at different times. Some people are new to the channel, and like, it's totally no one's fault but my own. But I just drive myself crazy, I think, more than anything. So it's no one else's fault but my own. But anyway, for today, we'll put the validation of Cunha and Bowen on the bench list. Obviously, they're going to go at the top here. In fact, I put Bowen even higher than Cunha. Obviously, these guys are at the top. Now, would I put Cunha above Mbermo? No. I don't think I would. But I put him above Isak this week. So there you go. Ta-da! FPL Victoria's Secret says, Dandel will spin for captaincy. It's so close. Can we do a Toyn Cost? We haven't done a Toyn Cost in a while. Toyn Cost, anyone? United says, literally no one is asking about Cunha or Bowen. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. No one should be asking about Cunha or Bowen, but indeed they are. Let's cost the Toyn. Let's cost the Toyn. It's got to be done. Okay. I'll go full screen for this. We'll go full face cam for this bad boy. So, for those of you who are new to the Toyn Costs, I don't have a coin. I don't have a coin. Possibly in my entire house. I mean, there may be somewhere in my entire house, but certainly not in this room. I don't have a coin. So, we're kind of limited for options. So, what I usually toss instead of a coin, well, we won't talk about what I usually toss, but on today's occasion, what I'm going to toss is this. It's just like an RGB light switch thing, and I think this one doesn't even have batteries in it. But what it's great for is it has two very distinct sides, and it's very easy to toss. And I like things that are easy to toss. On one side, toss the YouTube play button. No. On one side, we have a very colourful side, and one side we have a very blank and boring side, which I think is also really good for flipping to make tough decisions between boring things and interesting things. Colourful, fanciful, differential, boring, template, loser, weirdo. That's just me talking to myself, by the way, not this. So once in a stream, I instead of coin toss, I said toin toss, and basically ever since it's been a toin toss. It's not a coin. It is a toin. We are tossing the toin. This is the toin. We're gonna toss it. No, we're gonna toss it. So guys, this is for captaincy. If you haven't decided on your captain for this week, then this is going to decide it for you. Forget the wheel spins. Everyone does a wheel spin. Boring. If it lands on this side, and you guys have to commit to this, by the way. If I'm costing the toin, you got to commit to it. So if you want to make your decision based on the toin cost, listen up. If it lands this side face up, you're going to captain Palmer. If it lands on this side face up, you're going to captain Salah. I know, boring. Are you hoping for this side? I am. Are you going to commit to it? Who in the chat is committing to the coin toss? Because I need commitment. I need commitment in the chat before we do this. Oliver's committing. Who else we got committing? Kablash is committing, Purely Wash is committing, Chinadu is committing, Monten's committing, Bollin's committing, Maxwell's committing. A lot of you guys are committing. Things you love to see. Things you love to see. All right, you guys are in. Let's go. Let's go. So you have to commit to this. By the way, I'm not even committing to this. I've already decided my captain, so this ain't about me. This is about you. So I'm not committing, but you guys are. Palmer, Salah, and that's end of conversation. Ready? Are we ready? We need a really good cost here. Really nice high cost. A high spinning. That's a decent catch. Decent throw, decent catch. Are you ready for the grand reveal? Are you ready? So many people have committed to this. If we see colourful buttons, we're captaining Palmer. If we say a boring black side, not there's anything wrong with black sides, but if it's boring and the plain side of the controller, you're captaining Salah. Who are we captaining, guys? Congratulations. Congratulations. You're captaining Palmer. Join me. Join me. The coin toss. No, sorry. The toin toss never fails. It is time. It is time, ladies and gentlemen. You guys have locked in. You guys have locked in to Palmer, captain. There we go. Well, how are we feeling? Pixel Edit says I'm backing out. Screw this. You committed. You can't back out now. The toin cost has spoken. The toin cost has spoken. Jack says, I'm not sure I like that result. Too bad. You're locked in. You're locked in. New meme just dropped. It's a big one. It's a big, solid 5 points from Palmer, says Daniel. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. But we ride and die with the toin cost. We ride and die with the toin cost. Cost it again. It's sure to be sure it's not rigged. No. One chance. You get one chance on the toin cost. No more. No more. Okay. How much do we need to raise in the super chat for you to follow the toin cost and Captain Palmer? I am Captain Palmer. You don't need to raise anything. You don't need to raise anything, my friends. I'm already committed. You think Palmer is your ally? I was born in the differential, molded by it. Someone said I missed a super chat. I'm checking through super chats now. Soren, I have a super chat from you, but no message attached. So Soren, if you did intend to include a message with the super chat, just throw it in the chat, normal chat, and I'll keep an eye on it for you. Scott also says best manager this week, and the best manager for me is probably going to be Glasner. So that's probably what I would go for if I was going for assistant managers this week. Probably Glasner, but maybe Pereira at Wolves as well. But I think I'd probably go for Glasner. Watson and Kunku captain as a differential? I don't think so, man. I still prefer Neto as well. Lloyd says no 100 experts. Unfortunately not, no. Just wasn't enough time this week. So I do apologise for that, but we'll be back next week. Martinius, yes, says buy Maresca or Glasner. I would go for Glasner. I think out of those two. Kabalash says yes, Palmer. It is everyone who didn't commit Captain Salah. Yeah, a lot of people will not commit and they will bottle it in Captain Salah, I'm sure, out of the people who claimed they committed. But we ride and die. We ride and die. Those who ride and die get rewarded. And you know what? Next stream, if we get to next stream with Palmer outscoring Salah, I mean we'll know what Palmer gets by the end of tonight. We'll see if the toying cost was right or wrong. But I trust it. Soren says, miss super chat. I'm chasing 80 points in the mini league. Soren, are you asking who to captain if you're chasing? If you're chasing right now, I'd definitely captain Palmer over Salah. And also, I'd be looking at players like Marmoush instead of Cunha as well. Mainman Dad says, I can afford to switch Emery to Maresca. Why should I not? Glasner's just a better option. Like, what's the maximum you get? If Chelsea batter Southampton 4-0, you got 12 points maximum. And how confident are we that that's even going to happen? I mean, maybe it will. But I think, take a chance, man. This is a really opportunity. Crystal Palace at home against Aston Villa. It's a really nice opportunity. So I would take the risk on that one. Personally, will Fabianski start? Nope, I knew I would regret putting Fabianski in my starting 11, but I do not think Fabianski will start, no, but I'm going to put him in just in case. You never know, that 1% chance could happen. Certainly after, just beating Arsenal 1-0. Yeah, I think Areola probably retains his place, but we'll put him in there anyway. All right. Any more players? What if Areola is subbed at halftime? Yeah, that's the risk. But I mean, how often does that happen? Let's be real. So yeah, you don't have to do it if you don't want to. I think I'm going to do it though. Prolis says, what's your opinion on Dango's X minutes in the foreseeable future? I think good. I think even if Evan Nilsson comes back, and that's probably going to be a couple of game weeks away before we actually see Evan Nilsson start a game. Dango probably just plays on the wing. So I don't think his minutes are really... His starts probably aren't at super high risk. He could miss the occasional game, I guess. Early subs become more likely, but for now, he's fine. For now. Jack New says, could you add Rao to the bench list, please, matey? Absolutely. Anything for my Vietnamese friends. Let's see. Raul Jimenez. Wouldn't go super high. I think I'm going to throw him pretty low, to be fair. I'm going to throw him in here. Foden and Marmoush on the bench list. I don't think we want to put Foden on there, but I guess we throw in Marmoush. Who will go just right at the top, by the way? Prefer Marmoush to Cunha. I think I do, to be fair. Prefer him to Burmo. Yeah. Yeah. I'd put Marmoush here. Oh, you can't see the bench list. Oh, sorry. My bad. My bad. Start Semenyo or Mateta. Is Mateta on the bench list? People aren't thinking about benching Mateta, really, are they? Like, he's another player who just goes in this ever-growing section of players that no one is actually really thinking about benching. People just want to be validated. The validated zone. The validation zone. But yeah, he would just be another player in this validation zone. Do I need to put him in? Ugh, fine. He would go maybe even above Marmoush. There you go. Look how small the text is now. Look at it. Can anyone even read that anymore? We got a bit silly, haven't we? We got a bit silly with it. Can we just extend this a little bit? There we go. If we just extend it a little tiny baby bit. Move it over here like that. Made a bit more room. Miss Super Chat. I'm chasing 8 points in my mini league. Gordon out. Buy and play Bowen/Foden ahead of Joao Pedro. I wouldn't buy Foden. I would consider Gordon to Bowen though. I quite like that move. Yeah. Yeah, Gordon to Bowen play ahead of Joao Pedro could be pretty nice. Yeah, I'd be happy to do that move if you're like trying to do something, try and play a little more aggressively. For sure. Right, I think we're full on the bench list. Top 10 travel says, Dan, I never heard the helicopter story. Can we hear it? Yes, how do you know there's a helicopter story then? If you've never heard the helicopter story, how do you know there is a helicopter story? That's the question. Is it a good option to Captain Palmer? That's all I can say. That's all I can say. Lonnie says, if people are thinking about benching Isak, Cunha and Burmo, etc., then perhaps they should just delete FPL. But I don't think they are. I don't think they are actually thinking about that. They just want to see their players on the list. Dig VJ says, triple captain Palmer. No. The Toyn Cost said nothing about triple captaining. That is a different conversation. And we will maybe do one in the future, but not right now. Aaron says, I come to streams for deadline, headlines, changes, starters, press conferences, leaks, etc. Maybe set up a headline ticker along the bottom. Otherwise, I may ask repeat questions. I mean, what kind of things are you after? There are a few things in the ticker at the bottom already. So we've got Rodgers to be assessed, Nwaneri is available, but there wasn't any other major headlines. We haven't really got anything else major, really. And no one's really not among the FPL relevant players anyway. Well, certainly there wasn't anything at the time of setting up the stream, and I don't think we've had any leaks. It's unlikely we will have any leaks this early, to be fair, but we'll have a little look. But other than Welbeck is in the squad, maybe. Okay. Shall we throw that in somewhere? Okay. Well, I mean, I'll throw that headline in. There we go. So that's as close as we can get to a leak that Welbeck is with the squad. And any other big piece of news. Enzo is trained and is available. But these are like real peripheral players. Rory, assistant manager Glasner. What goalkeeper will start versus Leicester? Areola will. I'm 99% sure about that. Odegaard is not going to go on the bench list. Too differential. We try and keep it to like the main guys, but he would go pretty low. I prefer most of these players. He'd go like around Nwaneri, really. In fact, I'd be looking to sell Odegaard, to be honest. If it wasn't for him actually having a fixture in Gameweek 29, I would be looking. What do you expect from Palmer versus Salah? Like your best guess? One of two things is going to happen. Okay, regardless of what happens, Salah is going to score in this game. Salah's going to score against Newcastle. It's written. He probably gets an assist in there as well. Goal and assist for Salah would not surprise me at all. The question is, can Palmer do his 4 goal contributions in one game thing? I don't think Salah will do that, but I think there's a very good chance that Palmer could do that. So Palmer is your high risk, high reward captain pick, and Salah is your safe and secure captain pick. Let's go through some of these super chats. Sean says, I've got Hendo, goalkeeper, defense, Arnold, Gabriel, Kirkes, midfield, Salah, Palmer, Dango, and Burma. Attack, Isak, Wood, and then Rogers, Hort, and Dye. I have 2 subs. 2 transfers, I guess you mean. The goalkeeper's fine. Defense looks fine. Midfield looks fine. Yeah, so I guess you need to sell one of Rogers or Ndai this week. Depending on how much money you have in the bank. If you can afford Rogers to Bowen, I would probably go there. If you can afford Ndai to Cunha, I would probably go there. Or maybe Marmoush. That's probably what I would do. And if you need to free up some money in order to do that, then I don't really know where I would go. Or you could go cheap. You could go like Rogers to Semenyo if you're looking for someone a little cheaper. That's what I'd do. Kaz says Rogers to Bowen or Mbermo or roll this week. If Bowen / Mbermo, do I then bench Dango or Clive planning to wildcard 32? Thanks, Dan. Loyal follower of years. Thank you very much, Kaz, for sticking around, my friend. What do I do it this week to bench Dango or Clive? I mean, there's no doubt it improves your team. And if I had to choose one of Bowen or Mbermo this week, I would possibly lean towards Bowen, actually, at this moment. They're both good. They're both good, in fairness. I don't feel too strongly about Bowen versus Mbermo, but Bowen has the better week this week, so you get that instant gratification. So I thought probably edges it for me. Is it worth a transfer to bench Dango or Kluivert? You're going to do it anyway, aren't you? At some point, you're going to have to sell Rogers anyway. So it's a case of, do you want to keep your options open, or do you just want to go for it? And if you're going to go for it, Rogers to Bowen and bench Kluivert. But that's got to be up to you. Do you want to wait, be patient, wait for more info, or do you just want to attack? And that's going to depend on what your rank is like, what your priorities are in FPL. Francisco says, he's giving me the team again. Sells Gabriel, Kirkes, Trent, Miklenko, Vandenberg, Dango, Palmer, Salah, Kluivert, Elanga, Isak, Wood, Wisser. 2 free transfers, 3.8 in the bank. What to do? Chasing, number 1. So no Mbermo or Cunha. No free hit, 29. Marmoush is your friend, or at least he would be if you had a forward to sell, which you do not. There's nothing wrong with your team. Nothing wrong with your team at all. Yeah, bench Elanga, bench Mikalenko and Vandenberg, and you're good to go. Roll. Roll, Francisco. Roll. Irfan says Mbermo or Bowen for Saar, 21k rank, not chasing. If you're not chasing, Mbermo is much safer than Bowen. If you just want to hold rank, then Mbermo is a player who can damage you if you don't have him. So in your instance, I would maybe say Mbermo, but don't disregard Bowen. He still could do really, really well, but he's high risk, high reward, I guess. And are we caught up with super chats? Not quite. Did have a super chat from Let's Maths, but the message has been retracted. So I wonder what that said. Machiavelli says, please go through that Chelsea squad and talk about who's going to help Palmer with a massive haul. I'm not going to go through the whole thing because we are close to deadline, but certainly Pedro Neto looks the most likely player, given that he was playing as a more central attacker, more central striker type role last game week. Thought he looked good. 2 returns in the last 3. Put up some good shooting numbers and creative numbers against Aston Villa. Thought he played well. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure if he starts as a striker again against Southampton, just because I think a different fixture may require a slightly different setup. And I think Chelsea will be playing with more of the ball this time. But yeah, I think I would go for, if I'm looking for a second Chelsea player, it would be Neto. We spoke about that a lot before, so I don't really want to go over it too much. Nick says, are you happy with the Dango Cliver order? Yeah, I am. I slightly prefer Dango to Cliver, yeah. All of that falls apart if Bournemouth get a penalty, though. Right, what we got here? Flawless Foot says, Flawless Foot? Is it like cut off half your name? Surely Flawless Foot is not your name. I mean, maybe it is. Maybe your name is Flawless Foot, in which case, commiserations. Flawless Football, there we go. Found the full name. I got Allison and Trent. Should I bench Isak? Yeah, I mean, if you can either hedge and play Isak and try and play a little safer game, I guess, or you can say, yeah, I want to go all in, all or nothing. In which case, yeah, maybe you could bench Isak, but it's risky, and I honestly think that Isak will score in this game against Liverpool. I mean, Liverpool haven't been that great defensively of late. They have shown certain fragilities. I know they kept the clean sheet against Man City, but how many times did we see like Trent beaten on that side? But they just couldn't really finish anything. We had the disallowed goal from Marmoush as well. Yeah, I wouldn't be super confident of a Liverpool clean sheet. So if I'm talking super objectively, I would prefer to play Isak. That would be your best if you're looking for projected points. But if you just want to go all in, all or nothing, then you could bench Isak. But that's got to be up to you. I think I personally would just play Isak. Unless you had a really good backup, I guess. Sean says got 0.9 in the bank and Rodgers and Ndiaye need to go. Yeah, that's not great, Sean. Yeah, there's no real obvious upgrade there, is there? I mean, maybe could you take Ndiaye down to Beto? Would that help on your Rodgers upgrade? Probably not really. I don't know where you're going to find the cash to really make a significant upgrade there. To be fair, you only need to sell one of Rodgers or Ndiaye this week, so maybe you could downgrade one this week and do a little bit of messing around next week to figure the rest of it out. Maybe Rodgers to Semenyo. Does that work? What could you even afford? Not very much. Not very much. Yeah, that's the best I got for you, I'm afraid, Sean. I'd really like a bit more money in the bank to try and make a proper upgrade on one of those players, but it's going to be kind of difficult. Phil with an F says, start 3, Dango, Semenyo, Cunha and Watkins. Are they all on the bench list or not? Is Watkins on here? I don't think Watkins is on here. He perhaps should be on here. Like, all of these lots should absolutely not be on the bench list. Like, let's just get rid of all of you. We'll leave Cunha on there. That'll create a bit of space to put on Watkins. So there we will have 3 to start. So I start Cunha over Watkins, I think. Would I drop Watkins in? Oh, I don't know. This is tough, man. I'm going to drop Watkins in here, I think. But that's not easy. He's kind of tight with those Bournemouth guys, isn't he? Yeah, there's no easy decision there. I think if you have multiple Bournemouth midfielders, you perhaps just play your attacker ahead of one of them. And maybe we can illustrate that by like maybe throwing in like probably maybe illustrate it like that. So if you do have a Watkins or a Wood, you don't double up on your Bournemouth and you bench like a Clivert. Oh, but I don't think I would play Wood ahead of Clivert or maybe Semenyo. All right, let's do it like that. Let's mess things around a bit. Because it's so tight in that area. It really is. That's what she said. Right, any more super chats? Yes. Here from Let's Maths, who says... Well, I'm not saying the full name. Let's just call it Let's Maths. Sell Emery for a -4 and for who? Amazing work. Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I would perhaps sell him for Glasner. I think I'd sell him for a -4 for Glasner. I'd just take the risk. I'd take the risk. Sean says, yeah, bro, I'm effed. Or shall I lose Mbermo? Nah, you can't lose Mbermo. You can't lose Mbermo. You can't. I'm going to go back and have a look at your team, Sean. Let's figure this one out. Could you sell Trent? I think you could sell Trent. Because you have Hall, and don't you have a dud defender? So you only if you're not free hitting in Game Week 29, you need to find one more defender for Game Week 29. So maybe selling Trent is the answer. You could sell Trent, and this is just for Sean, by the way. I think in most instances you would look to keep Trent for that Southampton game. But we need to find a solution to the Rodgers and Dye problem. So you can either just simply do Rodgers to Semenyo, or you could do a double switch of Rodgers and Trent to Bowen and Aït-Nouri? Maybe? Something like that? Which I'd be tempted to do with 2 free transfers. There we go. Let's go with that. Let's go with that, Sean. 2 choices. 2 choices. Selling Trent is a little risky. But you're going to do it anyway. I think you're going to do it. You're going to end up doing it by Game Week 29 regardless. Raphael says, should I sell Isak and Ahmad for Cunha and Burmo? No. I don't think you need to sell Isak. Ahmad obviously does need to go. But I don't know. No, pot noodles, that is a yellow card for emoji spam. The only emojis that are allowed to be spammed are the custom emojis. Sean said, oh, you want a free hit in Game Week 29? By looking at your team, you don't need to free hit until Game Week 34. Like, that's the play, by the way. And just a reminder, guys, let's, actually, I want to have a look at the Rob T. Did he do some updated... Still got Glasner as the top manager. And there's some odds. I want to have a look at the my fixture calendar, which is on here somewhere. Which calendar is it? Here it is. Open image in new tab. And whilst we're doing that, Bernie says play Henderson or Kepa. I'm also playing Munoz. Maybe spread the risk with Kepa. Sid Vicious says Rodgers to Bowen and bench Gakpo this game week, or roll. I'd maybe do the Rodgers to Bowen move. I like the Rodgers to Bowen move. I like that. Right, so anyway, going back to free hitting. If you don't have many Villa, Crystal Palace, Liverpool or Newcastle players, there really is no need to free hit in Game Week 29 because Game Week 34 is going to be a bigger blank game week. as illustrated by... Wait, no, that's not on screen. Why is that not on our screens? Hold on. Oh, have a look at... Well, I'll have a look at that in a minute. Right, as illustrated by this beautiful, beautiful graphic that I came up with before. So yeah, as you can see, Game Week 34 is going to be a much bigger problem. So there's really no need to free hit in Game Week 29 unless you have a lot of players from Villa, Crystal Palace, Liverpool, Newcastle. And I'm talking like 8 or more minimum. Even if you have like 7 or 6, you can still navigate 29 pretty smoothly without a hit. Most likely. Depending on what your move was this week, I guess. So, yeah. Game Week 29 free hitting is for those with a lot of players from Villa, Crystal Palace, Liverpool, Newcastle. If you can hop off some of these players between now and Game Week 29, save that free hit, use it in Game Week 34. Because that's going to be the big boy. That's going to be the big blank game week. If you think there's going to be problems in Game Week 29, Game Week 34, that, you know, that's the real deal. That's the real blank game week. Game Week 29 is just the warm-up blank game week. Game Week 34 is going to be a soul-destroyingly large blank game week where you really just want to use your free hit, get some Chelsea players, some Liverpool players, some Spurs players maybe. Yeah, it's going to be all over the place. But we'll get a better idea of who will play in 34 and who won't over the next week. Well, actually, over the next... Well, I guess over the next week. Right. What else have we got? Tijani says, hey Dan, Colwell or Kirkes, Sells or Henderson? I would play Colwell over Kirkes this week. And I would play Henderson over Sells this week. There you go. There you go. Is Pedro Neto an option? Certainly is. Certainly is. Sell Kirkes for Munoz or roll? I wouldn't be thinking about selling Kirkes. That seems super luxury. Unless you're committed to a free hit in 29. If you're committed to free hit in 29, you can maybe sell Kirkes for Munoz for free, I guess. Maybe. Chris says, hi Dan, enjoy your videos. Part of my planning every week. Good to hear, Chris. My question is, start Pickford or Flecken? I think it's time to get the bench list back out, don't you? Let's throw it back on screen. I've got Flecken above Pickford currently, but it's so tight. And I honestly don't really know which one I go for. To be totally honest with you. It is a really, really tough one. So, yeah, I don't really want to call that one. It's so close. I have put Flecken above Pickford, though. But I'm not super confident. Ruben says, can I wildcard 30, assistant manager 31, and be able to bench boost in 33? No, sir. No, sir, you cannot. Any chance of Jacob Murphy on the bench list, fella? No, but I'll tell you where I would put him. Like next to Robinson, like super low, like among the defenders, kind of low. It is a coin flip, Chris. Unfortunately. Mazraoui, don't ask. Above or below Mikolenko in the bench list? He would be above, but is he going to start? Is he going to play? Probably not. So I guess no, in that sense. It's because he's too risky about his minutes. So I guess no, he'll be below Mikolenko, I guess. Mazraoui feels like a throwback, doesn't he? From the earlier parts of the season. Howson is on the bench list already. Neto or Mbermo. I would prefer to have Mbermo in my team long term than Neto, if there's a choice there. But Neto's a nice differential if you want to go something different. I want to run through the the goal projections for this week. So these are the final goal projections according to market data. We have Palmer at 0.96 projected goals, Haaland in second with 0.8, Salah actually in third with 0.7, Nkunku 0.67, which is crazy. Marmoush 0.55, Jota 0.5, Mateta 0.49, Bowen 0.47, Fernandes 0.45, Joao Pedro 0.44, Højlund 0.43, Beto 0.43, Watkins 0.43, and Burma 0.43. So, yeah, interestingly, Cunha's pretty low here, 0.35 projected goals. So, even, you know, Isak is above him for projected goals, apparently. As is Marmoush and Mateta and Joao Pedro and Beto and Watkins and Wissa. A lot of the players people thinking about selling for Cunha are actually falling above him for the projected goals this week. Let's throw it on screen for you guys so you can see. Use that as your own reference for a second. Dedoc says, who are you captaining? I'll go the other one. I'm captaining Palmer, so enjoy. Enjoy. Sean says, bro, can I show you my team on Insta quick? You don't need to, Sean. We've got 12 minutes till deadline, my friend. So we can't really... I haven't really got time to be messing around with that. But look, I know your team. You listed your team out for me. So yeah, your options are, they really are, you either downgrade... you either downgrade Trent in order to upgrade and die to Cunha or Marmoush, or Rodgers up to Bowen, or you just do a straight swap of Rodgers to a Semenyo. Those are your options, my friend. I wish, you know, maybe if I sat down for an hour and tried to figure out other things. It's more going forwards what I'm doing the next couple of weeks. Oh man, honestly, Sean, if I had the time to go through every single person's team and plan weeks in advance for them, then I would be a very fortunate man to have that much time. But unfortunately, I just simply do not. So I'm here to guide you, of course, through the videos, through the streams, and I do my best to answer in the chat. But unfortunately, I can't just fully help everyone in private messages. It's just it wouldn't be fair. Wouldn't be fair. Right, into the final 10 minutes, by the way, guys, to lock in those decisions. Sid Vicious says, if dead ending into Gameweek 29, would you buy Bowen or Neto? I'd still buy Bowen. I'd still buy Bowen above Neto. Yeah. Right, anything else? Projected goal points here. Anything particularly interesting here? Palmer top still, but Salah and Nkunku do leapfrog Haaland. Yeah, interesting that Cunha's not even on here anymore. Not even considered. It's interesting to see Nkunku so much higher up than Neto. I'm not sure if I agree with that, based on having watched Chelsea recently. Nkunku's not really been it. But there you go. Anyway, should we throw the bench list? Let's go bench list. There we go. Rodgers to Bowen and bench Cliver. You could do. It's luxury. It is a luxury move. But if you want to. Gordon and Timber to Palmer and Nori for -4. I would genuinely consider that. If you're going to captain Palmer, then yeah. Visahan says 1 transfer Emery to Glasner and -8 on Gameweek 29 or save. I think it's worth doing Emery to Glasner, to be honest. And Nkunku was very bad. He shouldn't start tonight. You don't really have too much of a choice, though, do you? That's the issue. Yeah, I'm not really sure what else there is out there. Chelsea are missing a lot of players at the moment. In attack, anyway. Right. Captain Salah or Palmer. Chat says Salah. Experts say Palmer. Toinkos says Palmer. I say Palmer, but chat says Salah. I think the overall player base will say Salah, but experts saying Palmer. I'm gonna go for Palmer personally. So if you're happy to go down with the ship, then join me. But do so at your own risk. Right, Greaves on the bench list, please. I don't think there's any need to put Greaves on the bench list. You're not going to play Greaves. Like, I can't think of a... You'd have to have a serious injury problems to play Greaves. He'd go at the bottom. What's your plan from Die? TBC, to be confirmed. Yeah, I'm gonna decide over the course of the next week, and it'll be either Cunha or Marmoush, possibly Haaland, possibly Wood, but for now, none of the above. The late fixture for Liverpool edges Salah for me over Palmer for captaincy. Yeah, if Palmer blanks tonight, it's going to be a long 24 hours. A very, very long 24 hours. Should I start Cunha over Robinson or Semenyo or Atara? I mean, if you have the option to go 3 at the back, I would start Cunha and drop a defender. Any early team news? Let's see here. Not sure. Not sure. The only thing we have is that Welbeck is with the squad. I don't know if he's actually in the squad or not. Let's see, I guess. All right, anything else interesting? Is Watkins to Delap a good move? Not really one I would consider. No. Marmoush. Yeah, Marmoush is a good pick. Let's actually, Show Team Gang are going to be furious if we don't put my team on screen for the final 5 minutes. The Show Team Gang can get very, very angry. And also people are asking for more players on the bench list. And we've run out of room, unfortunately. There's no more room in the inn. No more room at the inn. Where would you put Gordon on the bench list? Pretty low down. Yeah, would not be a high priority play at all. Any essential news for someone that just turned up? Nothing. No, nothing game breaking. No, I wouldn't say. There's no leaks or anything like that. Where would you put Kulusevski? Right on your bench. Right on your bench. Mateta, you play Mateta 100% of the time. Dan, free hit 29, bench boost 33, wildcard 34. Yeah, Maka, that is a valid strategy for sure. It's a valid strategy for sure. Zed says Palmer 100% captain. I mean, he's 100% my captain, but he might not be 100% yours. And if you're asking if I'm 100% sure about Palmer captain, then the answer is definitely no. I'm not anywhere near 100% sure on Palmer. But you got to take the risks sometimes, and I haven't taken too many risks recently. It might be time I started doing 1 or 2 here and there. Neto or Cliver? If I had to buy someone, I'd buy Neto. If I had to play someone, I'd play Neto. Would I get Cliver, actually? If I was buying, maybe Cliver. What do you think of Newcastle's defence recently? Dropped off a cliff, and that's mostly because there's no Joe Linton. We'll keep doing some quick fire questions from the chat. Risk it with triple captain? Nope. Definitely not. Save that for a double game week. Dango or Wood? I would play Dango. Beto or Wood? I would start... What? I can't remember what order I had it in the bench list. I think I had Wood ahead. Yeah, I guess would. I guess. Is Fabianski starting? 99% sure, no. I don't think so. Robinson or Kirkes for the bench. Bench Kirkes, play Robinson. Martinez or Fabianski. I mean, there's no problem just starting Fabianski. He's not going to play, though. You have a tiny chance he might play, but it's super, super unlikely. In fact, to be honest, the most likely scenario in which Fabianski plays is if Areola gets injured during the game. So maybe I'll just switch this back. I'm getting cold feet on that one. Let's switch it back. I'm too scared. Because he's not going to play. Like, why would Fabianski play? I'm not going to mess around with it. Isak or Cliver? Isak. Why has everyone switched to Palmer? Who's everyone? Who's everyone? I switched to Palmer. Cliver or Semenyo for the bench? I would rather bench Semenyo. Bench Timber for Kirkes, player of double Arsenal defence. Maybe go for Kirkes. Best long-term goalkeeper? Oof, I've not even looked at long-term goalkeepers. I guess if you're looking for someone between now and... If you're free hitting in 29, then probably Henderson. If you're not free hitting in 29, probably Neto, I guess. What do you think of Minter and Rutter? Rough fixes coming up. Martinez or Fabianski? It's up to you. Just start Fabianski if you want to and hope that he plays, but he probably won't. Is Welbeck back? Supposedly so. Supposedly so. Areola or Henderson? I play Areola ahead of Henderson. Right, everyone saved, guys. The timer is about to run out. We are about to hit deadline. We've got 30 seconds left. Lock the hell in, guys. It's time to lock in. Dan isn't back in a 3.3 form player of a 12.6 form player, just begging to lose out. I don't even know what you... Oh, are you talking about that form, the points form on the FPL website? I don't even look at that. That is not something I even consider when making decisions. So, no. Irrelevant. Irrelevant for my decision making, but, you know, people play FPL in different ways, and that's totally cool. Start Cliver or Dango. I would start Dango over Cliver, and it's irrelevant because the deadline has passed. Oh, I put the text as passed. I should have changed it. I should change it to locked. That would be better. Oh, yeah. Let's do that. Oh no, I accidentally reset the timer. Okay, let's. Oh, I love my new toy, my new stream toy. Let's put the duration to 1 minute, and then it will. People think the deadline's still open. It's not. But guys, yes, the deadline has passed. Congratulations, we've made it through another fabulous deadline. Is there any dogs or babies in the house? If so, I apologise, because we're about to blow the full-time whistle, everyone. That's full-time. We're locked in. Palmer captainers, I wish you the best of luck. Salah captainers, I wish you absolutely no luck whatsoever. I wish you terrible, awful luck in many ways. Well, not really, of course, but us Palmer captainers want to beat you. We want to beat you. We want to beat you. So let's see what happens there. Yeah, I think we've been streaming for like almost 3 hours. Is it worth staying on for lineups? Should we stay on for lineups? 15 minutes. We have 3 lineups in 15 minutes. We could just stay on, couldn't we? I'm not going to stay on for the Chelsea lineups. It's a little too far away. We won't get them for another hour. But we can stay on for 15 minutes, can't we? How are we going to occupy 15 minutes of time? That's the question. Any ideas? I like the look of your face after you've blown the whistle. What does that mean? What the... Deadline extended by 2 hours 24. Let's go. Yeah, imagine. Imagine. Right. Maybe we can do a fun tier list. Let's do FPL Challenge. Boys, I'm not gonna lie to you. I've not played FPL Challenge once this entire season, and I really don't intend on changing that now. I really don't intend on changing that now. I'm not suddenly going to start playing FPL Challenge in Gameweek, big Gameweek 27. 15 minutes of karaoke. What would you like me to sing? I can't anyway because we'll get demonetized. We'll get copyright striked because of this. You're not allowed. I don't think you're allowed to sing. Show us your top 5 kits. Tier list on best looking managers. Who are? Let's go on tier list, tier maker, and see what we've got. Let's search. Should we do something? We could do movies. We could do. I kind of want to take it away from football, just to take like a little break from football, and then we'll bring it back around when we have a look at the lineups. And Nicole says, good luck, Dan. What are your thoughts on Man United behind the scenes right now? They just haven't got the personnel. I can't pretend to know everything behind the scenes. Like, I'm not into like deep in Manchester United and what's going on there, but something ain't right. Something ain't right. Movies, what do you do apart from FPL? Oh, let's do, why don't we do like best video games of all time? You guys play video games? Let's just search video games. Oh. Video games tier list. Best video games according to professional critics. Thing is, I'm going to click on one of these lists and it's going to be like Roblox. It's going to be kids' games. I mean, what the hell is this? Mario Kart, Super Smash Bros, or Family Guy? What is the best game? I've never watched Severance before in my life, unfortunately, Richard. Never in my life. Best video games of all time, console edition. Okay, console edition, I can get with that. I've played probably more console games than I have anything else. So let's get going. And I'll only include the games that I've played before, and you guys can have some input here as well. So let's just put FIFA in generally. Are we saying FIFA? Oh my word, why is there so many tiers? All right, let's just, this is terrible. We don't need this many tiers. People always overcook these tier lists. 5 tiers is enough. 5 tiers is plenty. Naman says, can I send you a kit I made for my streetwear brand? Maybe. Maybe you can. Send me a DM on Instagram or Twitter. I'm curious though. FIFA, I think, is probably historically it's good. It is a good game. It's a game I put a lot of hours into every year. And I don't just mean Ultimate Team, I mean career mode. So I'm just going to put FIFA in once. Even though that says FIFA 21, I'll just put it in once. There we go. Is this Gen X tier list? Millennial, Gen Z, Alpha? I have no idea. Chris, what generation do you belong to? I'm one of those younger millennials. So I have a little bit of 90s experience in gaming, but very, very little. As in, I was pretty much a baby. But yeah, early 2000s, I remember a lot of games from then. Guitar Hero for me is S tier. Like FIFA, I think that all of the microtransaction stuff and the fact that they ignore anything that isn't Ultimate Team, and the fact that they've overcooked Ultimate Team to just become a money-making thing where, you know, just, oh, here's Team of the Year level cards in like week 2 of the game. I remember like the best cards you could get were like informs, and that was like in April. Now it's like your whole team is 95 plus by December. The whole game's cooked. Ultimate Team's cooked. I enjoy Ultimate Team for like a month, and then I stopped playing it. But career mode, I think, is excellent. I've got a lot of love from it over the years. So it's overall A tier for me. Guitar Hero is S tier. Love, love, love. Let's find some other really good games here. Actually, let's just go through ones I recognise. Because I've not played a lot of these games. I never played Destiny. I never played Just Cause. Never played Tomb Raider. I never played Duck Hunt. Mario? Wait, where's GTA? That will go on. Yeah, so let's skip all these games I haven't played. Let's just go through all of them. I'm looking through this and I realise I've not played a lot of games. Need for Speed. Generally, a game I really have a lot of time for. I love the Need for Speed games. However, Forza, even Forza Horizon, can't get into it. Can't get into it. GTA's middle left. Or is it like down here somewhere? Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to GTA. I haven't skipped. It's not in the top rows, is it? We'll get back to it. So where are we? What's the hardest song to play on Guitar Hero? Was it a Metallica song? No, it was Through the Fire and the Flames. Was the difficult one. Right. Minecraft is here. I see GTA, it's coming. Minecraft is here. I really like Minecraft. I really do like Minecraft. But I don't like it as much as FIFA. I don't like it as much as Need for Speed. So it has to go third row for me. But I do like Minecraft. It's like decent. Nicholas says I was part of EA moderating team for Need for Speed World online game back in 2010. Those were the times. Oh, that sounds like a pretty decent job, man. Right, GTA is S tier. It's just like obvious S tier. It's like number one. There's never been a better game franchise than, well, console game franchise, I will say, than Grand Theft Auto. If we're talking about my favorite games ever, then maybe that I would throw like RuneScape above Grand Theft Auto. But if I'm speaking objectively here, I'm like so hyped for, like, if I was still working a normal 9 to 5 job, I would be taking a week off work to play the new GTA game when it comes out. I would be taking a whole week off work. But unfortunately, I'm just going to have to cancel videos for a week so I can just play GTA all day, every day for a week. I cannot wait for GTA 6. I cannot wait. Honestly, I've never been so excited for a game. I've been excited for years for this game to come out. It's going to be unreal. I can't wait, man. I honestly cannot wait for GTA to come out. Life will be good in many, many ways. Call of Duty, it's Call of Duty Modern. Is there like a COD 4 somewhere here, or are we just going to call that Call of Duty generally? Okay, so we'll just talk about Call of Duty as the whole franchise. I think, again, that's S tier. I think in terms of video game franchises that truly are S tier for me, GTA, Guitar Hero, and Call of Duty. For console games, anyway. After that, I don't think there's anything I would really put up there. Let's see if there's any other games I've played. Mario Kart? Yeah, again, B. It's like Minecraft. It's a good game, but are you going to spend all day, every day? Are you going to fully commit your life to play Mario Kart? Probably not, but it's fun. It's a fun game. COD, in my opinion, is the best. I like competitive first-person shooter games. Me too, man. Me too. Overtina says Left 4 Dead, Portal, Rocket League are all goated. I've never played Left 4 Dead or Portal. Rocket League, though, if that's on here, that can definitely go on the tier list. I've played that a decent amount. I don't want to talk about games I haven't played, though, because I feel like that's unfair. Assassin's Creed's on here. Yeah, never played it. Never played it. Battlefield. I've played Battlefield before. Not really into it. It was okay. Wait. Star Wars Racer. Is that like the game I think it is? Hang on. Star Wars Racer. Is that the PS1 game? Oh my god. I had this game as a kid and I absolutely adored this game. Did anyone else play this game as a kid? Oh my word. Unreal. Unreal. I mean, it's not really in these upper echelons, but I still really enjoyed that game as a child. What else we got here that I have played? You guys are probably going to be so annoyed of all of these games I've never played. So Cyberpunk, I've only just started playing, so I don't really know where to put it yet. So we'll put it there. So I feel a little bad really judging it. Fortnite. Oh, Fortnite. I'm sorry. I know people are going to hate me for putting Fortnite in A tier, but it kind of is. Like, the OG days of Fortnite were some of the best, like, headset days. Headset with your mates days. Funniest moments of my gaming life. So it's got to go there. Spyro, played it as a kid. It was okay. Fortnite fell off. Oh, for sure. For sure. Tetris. Basic. We need a little more. We need a little more. Gran Turismo I did play when I was younger, to be fair. It was okay. Right, any other games? Mortal Kombat, yeah. Used to kind of like that game. Wouldn't put it anywhere crazy, though. Time Crisis. Well, I've never really been very good at it, but you know, I guess it's kind of fun, but not really high. Oh, Red Dead 2. I also have this, but I haven't started playing it yet. I need to start playing Red Dead. I need to start playing that. I'm kind of saving Red Dead for like maybe the summer, or you know, maybe like or international break when I got some time. Skyrim. Is that going in S tier? It is, isn't it? That's another S tier game. Skyrim is another S tier game. Huge. Okay, any other games here? Final Fantasy, tried it. I've not really played very much of it, so I'm not going to judge it too highly. We'll just put it there. Fall Guys. I mean, Fall Guys is a bit of fun, but like, it's not like a high tier game. Sonic, again, similar. And I think that's pretty much all of the games here that I've actually played. I guess I played Donkey Kong, but like Mario Kart needs to be higher. Yeah, but it's a good game. But are you genuinely sitting down for 6 hours on your day off and playing 6 solid hours of Mario Kart? Of course you're not. You're not. Oh, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Yep, that's A. That's A. That's an A tier game. Street Fighter's on there as well. We'll put it next to Mortal Kombat. Even though, like, you know what? I've never been a Street Fighter guy. I always preferred Mortal Kombat and Tekken. I always preferred Tekken to probably both of those games. But I can't see Tekken. Great soundtrack on Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. You know what? I'm gonna listen to that. I'm gonna listen to that soundtrack. Right, let's just go through. Is there any other games I played extensively? A lot of Star Wars games on this tier list for some reason. Star Wars Battlefront. Oh yeah, pretty good. Pretty good game. I'm thinking the OG ones though. Resident Evil, too scary. Too scary for me. Well, when I played it as a small child, it was anyway. And that is pretty much all of the games on this list that I've played, other than Smash. But I've been avoiding this one because I don't really like Smash. I don't really like it. It's not really for me. I think that's everything. Oh, Pac-Man. Sure. Novelty game. I've not played any of these other games, I don't think. Maybe I've missed one or two. Okay. Right, now that that's done, let's go and head over and have a look at some lineups. No, not played Red Dead yet. It's on the list. I literally have the game. I just haven't played it yet. I will. The Last of Us, never played that either. Okay, so Wolves, starting 11. We have Cunha starting. That's the main one. Nori's here as well. Starting ahead of Johnston, despite Johnston returning to fitness. So nothing too surprising there. Strand Larson on the bench again. For Brighton, we have Welbeck back on the bench. Welbeck back on the bench. O'Reilly's there as well. Interesting. So Lamptey, Webster, Van Heck, Estupinian, defense. What was your first manager game? LMA manager, most likely, I guess. Well, I really liked LMA manager. Okay. Okay, there's your... So that's going to be Joao Pedro. Maybe tearing it up again. For Fulham. Where is Robinson? Oh. Okay, that's a curveball. Sessegnon starting instead of Robinson. That's a really defensive lineup. Lukic, Purge, and Pereira. No Raul Jimenez. It's midweek chaos, guys. It's midweek chaos. No Robinson, no Raul Jimenez. I did not see that one coming. I thought Raul Jimenez had a chance of rotation, but Robinson's like nailed on. Crazy. Well, there you go. Commiserations, Robinson owners. That's rough. That's unexpected. I'm so sorry, guys. Crystal Palace looks much of the same. Wharton is back, which is big news. Big news there. Everything else is the same. We've got Wharton in for Bournemouth. Evan Nilsson is on the bench again. So all of the usual suspects are indeed starting. So we've got Dango, Cliver, Semenyo, Kirkes, Howson, Kepa. Whoever you've got from Bournemouth, they're probably starting. So nothing to worry about there. As for Aston Villa, Rodgers is starting. All right, so there we go. No worries about his fitness then. Dina is playing. Bogard playing in a slightly more attacking role today by the looks of things. Rashford, Marlon, and Asensio all on the bench for some reason. That surprises me. That surprises me. Okay, well, there you go. The big news is that no Robinson, no Raul. Those seem to be the big misses. Everyone else is mostly playing from those fixtures. But, guys, we are going to leave it there because we've been streaming for 3 hours, which is... You know what? I've done a couple of 3-hour streams recently. I actually... I've kind of enjoyed these, guys. I've kind of enjoyed these. And honestly, I thank you for joining me on these slightly longer streams. You know what? Sometimes I think, could I be a streamer? Is that the next... After everyone leaves my FPL channel because I've just finished 10 millionth in the world, maybe I should start streaming because this has been fun. This has been fun. I enjoyed chatting with you guys today. Okay, we're leaving it there. Good luck this game week. Next deadline is not for a little while now. We've got like a week and a half. But there'll be videos over the course of the next week and a half, of course. I'm going to try and improve some of my stuff as well over this time as well. We'll try and do that. So, yeah, but enjoy the football anyway, guys. I'll catch you guys over on Twitter, I suppose. Catch you over on social media. And, yeah, other than that, I'll see you on the next video. Whenever that is, or next stream. I don't know when that's going to be. We'll have to wait and find out. Right, guys, take care, enjoy the footy, and I will see you later, mates. Bye.